you want jazz music, go to New Orleans. Bagels, New York. And for psychics, think California Psychics. You want the best, you go to the best. At California Psychics, home of free spirits and open minds, we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. That's why we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Helping your inner circle prepare for emergencies can start in many ways. Put together an emergency kit with WipeWall. Create a family communication plan with your tita. Remind Bai to keep a backup battery charged. It all starts with a simple step, telling those you care about to be ready for the worst. So start a conversation and plan for emergencies together. Get more tips at ready.gov/start. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it is Dom time on a big day leading to a bigger day on Monday. Welcome in. We have Riley Gaines coming up. It's not just the Congress passing that law in the House this week, stopping, simple thing, boys, men against girls, women in sports. There's now a resolution that they're working on to go after the NCAA, those all-time weasels. And you have a lot of leverage over them. If they would just come out and say it, it would really help. So she'll be here. And Azra Nomani, who was with us when those school districts in Virginia, those really affluent, educated, went wild with wokeism. Well, she's got a piece up at Fox News detailing the woke mobs coming to D.C. and what they plan to do. You'll want to hear that. She'll be here at 12:30, but I'll ask both of them about TikTok, and I will also ask Linda Kearns. I am more fired up on this issue. I'm not going to deflect on this. I'm looking at page 7 of what the Supreme Court wrote, and what they talk about is that this law does not regulate protected expressive activity or conduct with an expressive component. In other words, free speech. Stop already with that argument. If people like TikTok, they like TikTok. Why don't you just make that argument? But I'm not going to just pretend it's not happening here, that Trump seems to be enamored of this. And I get it. He did very well. Is this kind of like his student loan debt? Remember Biden riding to the rescue with the student loan debt? Let's give young people whatever they want. So it's clear, too. It's not going dark. It just has to be with an American company so they can't continue this. And there's 27 pages right there on YouTube, you can see, has multiple data points about the amount of people, the amount of stealing, what the Chinese Communist Party is doing. So don't, keep that in mind. We do have national security interest. And I'm tired of guys, idiots, really. I know he does some charitable work, but Dave Portnoy weighing in. I'm more concerned about the American government than I am the Chinese Communist Party. Hey, buddy, why don't you go and eat some chow mein over there? Do chow mein interviews in Red China, like your pizza thing. What do you think's going to happen? More concerned with the U.S. government. It's fine to attack the deep state, and there is a deep state, and we're on it. It's fine to talk the weaponization of the FBI. But if you want TikTok, just say that. Don't wrap it up in that like Portnoy did. I'm more afraid of the American government. So I'll ask you that question. Are you more afraid of the American government than the Communist Chinese Party? Well, they didn't do anything to me. Right. They would murder every one of us in a second, and they tried during COVID. So let's have sober argument about this. 855-839-1210. President Trump is the one that issued the first executive order on this, and he was right. And it used to be, supporters said how toxic this was also, toward young people particularly. But it is popular, without a doubt. Now, will something else take its place? Can it be as popular? I'm not sure. The algorithm, I'm not sure how effective it will be. I'm a little unclear. I don't know if anybody knows the iteration with an American company. But nobody's saying we're banning free speech. It's just we're trying to take the Communist Chinese Party out of this. Why are we seeing these spats? It reminds me of the HB1 visa thing. In fact, here on Morning Joe, this is Cut 12, Dan, Caddy K from Great Britain with the accent and everything else is one of the most fraudulent elitist types. Tisk-tisking and saying there's no evidence that China's doing anything. Cut 12.
Yeah, and at the moment there isn't any evidence. I mean, there hasn't been any evidence up to date that the Chinese state has decided to use TikTok to attack America or divide America. But what's one of America's weaknesses? One of America's weaknesses is that everybody is siloed. We're in rage bubbles. We don't like each other in the country. And if you can't beat
You're from Great
America,
Britain. You're not even from here. Come on.
Militarily, or you can't beat it economically, communication mediums are an incredibly powerful tool. Ask any regime throughout history, right? If you control communication, you can do an awful lot of damage to your adversaries. What's to say that it's not just the data they're accumulating, but it becomes a two-way street, and that's used to increase those divisions and weaknesses that already exist in American society. I would feel if you're going to cite national security as a reason to put tariffs on Canada and Mexico, but you don't think there's a national security concern with giving access to China to have one of the most powerful communication tools in American media, that seems a little bit of a disconnect.
Well, she came around to my view in the end. In the beginning, though, there's no evidence. The evidence is who they are, what they're about. They want to subjugate the world. That's what they're about, by one step after another. And I think we have to fight them, whether it's the NBA and basketball and the nonsense that happened there, whether it's on college campuses with their Confucian centers, with them stealing every other thing they can get, poisoning us with COVID. Every single level, they are the enemy extraordinaire. Yeah, and this is another example. It is a national security threat. In addition to the point you kind of made at the end and what they do to kids. The Trump swearing in, moving indoors. I never like that. I really don't. You know, I think you got to put giant heaters out there or something. There's something about the swearing in ceremony and the whole thing that's magical, but it's moving indoors now, according to the temperature thing. Not on board with that, you know. I don't know then how much of it is outside the Trump speech, et cetera, but that just came down. I would advise if you're going to the inauguration, realize it's a very difficult thing to get close, and it is frigid. This might be one of the colder ones. The one that I went to, the first Obama, was, oh, my God. Yeah, it is. So I get it, but moving it inside takes away the majesty of it, really. Oh. I'd rather you do the speech inside or side. The swearing in is the constitutional part of it.
So are they not going to have anything that's out there on?
Well, just a swearing in for now, as far as we know. Now, I don't know why they think putting the swearing in inside, how long that takes, et cetera, why that curtails it. Seems like it's going to be shortened. Is Carrie Underwood not going to wear a pretty nice outfit then? Is she going to have to be in a parka singing there?
That's a good question, too.
Yeah. All right. So it's at 855-839-1210. Wanted to play one other thing. When it comes to the deep state and worries about that, I'm there. And this idea, this is the deep state. Why can't we have what we like? It's freedom of speech with TikTok. Here is the new Treasury Secretary. I think he will be, Bessent. And he, yesterday, this is only 6 seconds, made a point that I've been talking about, and that is the so-called digital dollar. Now, that's just another element that we don't need. We already have enough people not believing in cash, knock yourself out. But the digital dollar, why would we do this? Why would we have more government possible tracing, more government involvement in our life? Here's what he said yesterday in testimony.
On CBDCs, I see no reason for the U.S. to have a central bank digital currency.
All right, so no central bank digital currency. We dodge a bullet for 4 years or so. Let's see who comes up with anything else around that. All right, so we got Riley Gaines coming by at 12:15 with a lot to report on. Love to get you in on the TikTok moment. Biden pardoning a great number of people. I'm trying to get on this attorney who, and I think I have the Pam Bondi cut here. Pam Bondi, here it is. Here's what Pam Bondi, this will be cut 11, Dan. And I think Bondi was making a good point both to get past the nomination confirmation process and also of what I think Trump is going to do about the pardons or commutations of January 6th defendants. Listen to what Pam Bondi said.
Let me ask a third question. Do you believe that the January 6 rioters who've been convicted of violent assaults on police officers should be pardoned?
Senator, if confirmed as Attorney General of the United States, the pardons, of course, fall under the president. But if asked to look at those cases, I will look at each case and advise on a case-by-case basis, just as I did my entire career as a prosecutor.
You also advise the president on pardons as part of your responsibility as Attorney General. And so I'm asking you, do you believe that those who've been convicted of the January 6th riot, violent assaults on our police officers, should be pardoned? That's a simple question.
So, Senator, I have not seen any of those files, of course. If confirmed and if asked to advise the president, I will look at each and every file. But let me be very clear in speaking to you. I condemn any violence on a law enforcement officer in this country.
All right, so taking the point now, we're trying to get on the attorney who represented some of these people. And he made some good points that the sentences are excessive here. And I think that's true, even in the case of some that were involved in some issues. But I think Bondi is signaling what Trump is thinking, too. If you were attacking a cop here, you're not going to get anything here. All right, at least this initial go-round. And I think that's what the standard ought to be. All right, let me give you the side question. We'll get Dan and Henry's because Riley Gaines is in the on-deck circle. Bob Uecker, who was apparently an unbelievable guy and talent, but a non-actor, Major League, any number of things.
On into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside.
Yeah. We're looking for a non-actor who was very good.
Notable.
Not somebody
just notable in general.
Yeah,
They
notable.
can be very bad too.
Yes, that's right. Very bad. Now, one, I'm going to go back in time. I'll explain a little bit, though. This guy actually won 2 Academy Awards for it. Harold Roselli, Dan. It's an old film, Best Years of Our Lives, but Lou Gall used to say it's in the top 10. I think it is. People coming back from World War II, the good war, and he had lost his limbs, his arms. He had to use hooks.
Oh, that's a great answer.
He won both the Best Supporting Actor, I think, and he won Outstanding because of how emotional this was.
Wow.
He never acted. He was just playing a guy with the hooks dealing with this. I never knew that. I thought he was an actor. I didn't know how they did the hooks back then or whatever. But,
wow.
Of course, you guys told me, you did, Dan, Bill Burr.
Yep.
That's him in Breaking Bad with Ewell, particularly the scene where Ted decides to lam it and gets pulled down on the rug and pretty much dies there. That's him. He was great. I think it was in there 3 times that I remember. All right, working for Better Call Saul. All right, we'll get Dan and Henry's. All right, it could be bad.
Let me just get on real fast because I got to get rolling here in a second.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Silvio Dante, Dom, of The Sopranos. Who could forget the
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gabagool. Over here.
Yeah.
And he wasn't an actor at the time, but he hopped on Steven Van Zandt. Not a fan of his, not a fan of Bruce Springsteen or the E Street Band, but later went on to do another series in the realm of, mafioso, and he's turned into a pretty solid actor. But Silvio Dante, played by Steven Van Zandt.
I would say he morphed into a believable actor to me, Paulie. And I saw Paulie at a Frankie Valli concert, and he looked threatening beyond belief, and it was mobbed with people there.
Because he was a mob guy.
Yeah, was he?
Paulie Walnuts, before he was an actor, he was a mob guy. So
then there is, regrettably, Big P, who couldn't face my interview, even though I wasn't doing anything. Big P, what do you think about TikTok? All right.
I wonder they killed him off.
We'll get Henry's coming up. You got the plot? It could be a bad one, too. There's a lot out there. Hit us with that in honor of Bob Uecker. The great Riley Gaines next. Talk Radio 1210.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Just like our offensive line protects our star quarterback, plumbers protect the health of the nation. And Philadelphia Plumbers Union Local 690 is no different. In hospitals, commercial, industrial, and residential, with the best trained plumbers in the world, you can be sure your project is done on time and on budget, no matter how big or small. So when your business needs to build new or expand existing facilities, you can count on the members of Plumbers Union Local 690. Visit plumbers690.org.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 1039 FM.
The Supreme Court has decided to uphold a federal law banning TikTok taking effect Sunday. A Collingdale cop resigns just days after he was sworn in. He's now facing charges for a 2023 road rage incident. The forecast calls for up to 3 inches of snow during Sunday's Eagles game at the Link.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Hey, this is Jimmy Fallon in the house, and dig this, folks. This is not a drill. It's the real thing. You can now join me weeknights from 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT or anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
All right, time to Giordano's show. It's always a big day when Riley Gaines stops by here on Talk Radio 1210. Let's go to Riley on a great day, a day that we look forward to Monday. Riley, welcome back to Philadelphia. Thank you for joining us.
You guys are the best. I am thrilled to be on with you.
Well, thank you, Riley. Particularly, you've maintained your just down-to-earth persona with us, despite the fact that you're in demand all over the place. So, Riley, a big week. One, other than some local people here, that we need you to come and hold a little forum, maybe debating the three of them, these three women in the suburbs. We had the big vote in the House. The Senate looks good on the trans in sports. And we also have this resolution trying to start with the NCAA to move them on it.
There is a lot of good things going on right now. Gosh, I feel so hopeful for a couple reasons today specifically. The Laken Riley Act just narrowly passed the Senate, so it is set to be on President Trump's desk. And I'm looking at the news this morning, watching this unfold, watching the votes go down, and I'm thinking to myself, like, is this really bare minimum? Like, I'm over the moon that our 119th Congress actually has done something. Like, I'm over the moon about it. So it's lots of good things going on. Of course, we're seeing some wins there, of course, with President Trump taking office next week. On the issue you mentioned in particular, the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act, it passed in the U.S. House, and they can say with bipartisan support. What that means is 2 Texas Democrats who definitely did not want to lose their seat voted in support of protecting women and girls in sports. Every other Democrat voted in opposition, but nonetheless, it is a step up from last year. We are celebrating the improvements onto the Senate, and man, I'm hopeful. And even if It doesn't have the 60 votes to get through the Senate. Again, last year, Schiff wouldn't even take it up for a vote in the Senate, so it's a win. We're celebrating the win. It's certainly an advancement, and I'm hopeful that President Trump will take executive action on day one, as he's campaigned on, to uphold Title IX in its original intent. So all that to say, lots of wins across the board, and it should excite all Americans, not just people who voted for Trump, not just Republicans. It should excite every single person who wants to feel safe, who wants lower crime, who wants world peace, who wants free speech, who wants affordable living. What we are seeing right now, it should excite everyone who wants those things.
Without a doubt. Now, Riley, I noticed, too, on your Twitter, we have this new congressperson, I believe it's a he, but McBride from Delaware. And there were public readings with young kids about books that might be titled Grooming with like kindergarten kids this week. What do you think about that?
I can't even really, I saw this video and I thought to myself, it had to be, there's no way this is real, right? Because this was a kindergarten class in Virginia, kids as young as 4, 5, 6 years old. And if you listen to the clip of Sarah McBride, who is, of course, formerly Tim McBride, who it's been pretty awesome. I don't know if you follow Congresswoman Mace on X. She has been all over him, which has been great. It's because I think the American people have been desperate for that type of relentlessness, especially when it comes to objective truth and biological reality. But watching this clip, you see Congressman McBride tell these kids verbatim, it is good to be transgender. That is, to me, in my honest opinion, that is criminal behavior. That is child abuse. It is psychological child abuse. What is happening to these kids? I have so many questions. Number one, the school that allowed this. Number two, the parents. Oh my gosh, did the parents know that their kids were going to be read this book by a man wearing a dress, telling them that it's good to be transgender? And if the parents did know and they still sent their kids to school, are we sure that these parents are fit to be parents? I mean, I think there's a separate conversation to be had there. I mean, it's the definition of grooming. If you were to look it up in the Webster dictionary, which those dictionaries have become so woke, they don't even, maybe it's not the definition in the Webster dictionary, but at one point, if you were to look up grooming in the dictionary, that is exactly what you would see.
Now, Riley, as we smack dab in the middle of 2025, you have morphed, in my view, from not just this issue. Of course, this is a core issue, the things we just talked about, but basically toward women's rights, and even beyond that. Tell us what you're looking to be involved in 2025.
Well, gosh, there is a lot going on. I'll tell you one thing that has affected me personally, that has become really at the forefront, is what is going on, not necessarily in terms of illegal immigration, but what our government has done to legal immigration. I don't know if I've shared this with you on your program, but I'm married to a legal immigrant. He's a wonderful man who desperately wishes he could have voted for Donald Trump in the most recent election. Hardworking, of course, he pays his taxes. He loves America and what we have to offer. And he comes from England, where, let me tell you, he also loves the Second Amendment now. He's like, I missed out on this my whole life. This is why you guys won the American Revolution. And I remind him every July 4th, which is the superior country, but I digress. Anyways, all that to say, we've been married almost 3 years, and even still, our government, USCIS, Immigration Services, will not give him his green card because he refuses to get the COVID vaccine. I can't even tell you how much money this has cost us in terms of immigration fees and immigration lawyers and all the things and medical records and all the junk, how much money, the time, the investment, the different protocols and procedures you have to go through. So legal immigration is a mess. And so we're hoping to seek some reform there. And there have been some chats with Elon Musk about what this looks like, how DOGE can help, what we can do to really clean up our immigration system as a whole.
Give me your sense of Elon Musk. Now, we've had few people on who have actually chatted with him, as you just casually said, Riley. So you've gone from Leah Thomas to Elon Musk. That's a big jump.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it wild?
What is it like talking to Elon Musk?
Well, I'll tell you, the thing that I appreciate about Elon Musk, number one, I think he says what he thinks openly, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about accountability. It's about transparency. And compare that to Gates or to BlackRock or to Soros or to Zuckerberg, who I do not trust in the slightest, by the way. They do all their stuff behind the scenes, which, of course, it's hard to hold them accountable when they hide what they do. So if you're looking at it in that perspective, I know which person I'm going to trust, and that's Elon Musk. He's definitely a character. He's a unique guy. There's no doubt about that. But what he has done I believe he saved free speech in regards to the purchase of X. I hope he purchases TikTok. I'll tell you that. I know there's some talks about what that looks like behind him and Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary. Hopefully some good people can get behind that and be able to purchase this to do even more for free speech. But even how he helped the Hurricane Helene victims, what he's done in the California fire, sitting out cyber trucks with Starlink. I mean, he deeply cares about humanity, and that's a rare trait, especially among billionaires. So I think he's wonderful. I definitely trust him, right? He's very smart. He's intelligent. I don't know if you saw the most recent rocket ship landing that we just saw. I mean, he's raising the bar across the board, and it results in a net win for America. So I appreciate him a whole lot.
Well, Riley, we certainly appreciate you. You going to be in Philadelphia anytime, do you see, and coming up?
Absolutely. There's lots of legislative work to be done. While I definitely care about what's going on at the federal level, I think more so my passion is what's happening at the state level, local levels even, because truthfully, it matters more. We saw how the election turned out, of course, on November 5th and how people turned out for Donald Trump. I wish we could get people to turn out in droves for school board members, for local councilmen, for city commissioner, for auditor even. All of these local positions matter so much in your community. So there's so much work to be done. Very, very excited to return to Philadelphia, to the state of Pennsylvania, to make sure leaders are held accountable, right? Mm-hmm. So often we shift our perspective to what's happening in Washington, D.C. We should be looking at our own backyards.
Exactly. Riley, where's the best place to go to see all the things that are in motion with you?
You can follow me along on X at Riley_Gaines_. You can check out my podcast, Gaines for Girls Without Kick. I'm the director of the Riley Gaines Center. We've got great stuff going on over there. You can check that out at RileyGainesCenter.com. And hopefully you'll be able to hear me on this program again soon. I love coming on with you guys.
Anytime you make a date with Dan, just square that up and we're all set. Riley, congratulations on everything. Thank you. Thanks for coming on today.
Thank you.
All right, Riley Gaines here on Talk Radio 1210, 855-839-1210. That's how you get on board. All right, so we got the big TikTok decision. I'm not sure if Dan gave us one or not. Henry, how about you? An actor, I have a couple more here, but I don't want to steal them. An actor, not an actor, who played in a film, TV show, etc. There's a big one out there, but how about yours?
Yeah, so I'll take a good one and a bad one off the board. I'll start with the good first. Yeah. I will do a character from playing himself in one of the top 2 comedy movies this century, The Other Guys. Mm-hmm. Shortstop, Derek Jeter. If you know that movie, you know that Mark Wahlberg's character accidentally shoots Derek Jeter in what later ends up being a huge plot to keep Jeter and Mark Wahlberg's character at bay so they don't unravel a giant conspiracy. I think Jeter is hilarious in that movie, as is everyone else, and that's
surprising to me. I haven't seen it. Derek Jeter doesn't seem like a comedic. Yeah,
Dom, you got to watch The Other Guys. That is that and Superbad are the top 2 comedy movies this century. Those are by far and away the best. And then the bad one I'll do is it was so bad it got cut from the show. It was George Steinbrenner playing himself in Seinfeld. As we all know, Larry David played the Steinbrenner character in all the scenes with George throughout the years. But one time they decided, you know what, it'd probably be pretty funny if we had George Steinbrenner actually play himself. And he came in and was absolutely excruciatingly bad that Larry David and Jerry were like, we can't use this.
Any sound of that out there anywhere?
Oh, let me look it up.
I'd like
pretty
to hear
sure
the real Steinbrenner, because they captured the image of just craziness and going back and forth on anything that distracts him. That struck me as Steinbrenner more than anything.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Here it is. Hold on.
All right. Steinbrenner's being difficult.
Lynn, what are you doing here?
Okay, I wanted to talk to you about something, and I wanted to tell you in person.
What?
I'm not going to the wedding.
Why not?
Because Jerry is bringing a date. I am not an usher. I don't have anyone to talk to, and I'm not sitting at that singles table all by myself.
Wait a minute, young lady. What's this
Here he
about
is.
singles tables? I don't sit at singles tables. Singles tables are for losers. The Yankees have won 33 pennants and 22
pretty good.
World Championships. We're winners. We don't sit with losers.
Well,
And I've got an idea. You're going to go to the party with me.
You think it's kind of flat? Is that it?
Yeah, because if he were playing into Larry David's version of himself, I think it'd be better. But the fact that he's just kind of himself, I think that's
all he's
why
doing.
it falls
Right,
flat. Yeah.
I could see him saying that, yes. All right, 855-839-1210. We're going to talk with Azra Nomani, our friend from Virginia. We talked with her when the school districts went crazy there. She's got a big piece up at Fox about the woke mobs headed already there maybe to D.C. What do they have in mind for Inauguration Day? Phone lines to get in, 855-839-1210, AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All that you have to do is just push pound 1210. So hit us with one of those non-actors who stole the show. OJ, of course, is somebody who wasn't an actor, and he proved that, but it was good in the Hertz commercials. But some of the other stuff, it was Airplane. There was something with scuba diving.
Naked Gun.
Naked Gun. Yeah, Kareem did that too. So there's a million of them. Hit us with your favorite. Make the case. Get your name into the hat. All in the honor of Bob Uecker here on Talk Radio 1210.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
In a world filled with financial information, Citizens can help you make sense of it. So whether you're listening to that new financial podcast that's hotter than your morning coffee, flipping through that financial guru's 1,000-page book on simple finances, or getting tips from a coworker that actually sound kind of interesting, you're ready to make the most of it. Make sense of your money with Citizens. Learn more at citizensbank.com/made ready.
Let King Shooter Supply in King of Prussia help protect you and your family. King Shooter Supply has over 200 years of combined firearms experience to help you get what you need to protect what you love. They gladly welcome beginners into their family of competitive shooters, recreational shooters, law enforcement professionals, and hunters. They'll guide you through the nuances of finding the right firearm, ammunition, and accessories that you need for self-defense. Visit them at 346 East Church Road in King of Prussia. Visit them on Facebook or at kingshooters.com.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of the many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or CVS.
Now back to the Piazza Auto Group studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. This is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
All right, it is Dom time. This just breaking. CNN has been found guilty in the defamation case involving that Navy officer. I'm calculating right now what the damages will be. You may remember Stephanopoulos found guilty with President Trump as this opened the floodgates. This is the guy that was wronged by CNN when CNN's chief national security correspondent claimed that bad actors were reportedly running a black market, charging exorbitant fees to Afghans attempting to flee their country after the Taliban took over. This guy was one that they apparently put into that mode. I'll give you more details on that. But one of our all-time favorites, Azra Nomani, is back with us. Azra used to be with us because she and other patriots in Virginia were pushing back in some of the best schools that have now been deranked, so to speak, because of the wokeism. More than that, because of the discrimination, many times against, I would say, Asian American students, removing merit, that kind of thing. But she's got a big piece up that I'm looking at. This, the woke army plotting to crash Trump's inauguration. A network of organizations and the woke army of socialists and Islamists plan to come to the inauguration and do damage. You can find it at Fox News. Let's go to Azra Nomani here on Talk Radio 1210. Azra, welcome back. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be back with you. And as always, it's about the fight for truth.
Yes, absolutely. And you have been one of the most consistent voices on that at very high levels. Why is this area an area of interest for you? Is this things that you've looked at before?
Yeah, it's literally as old as my son is, that I have been investigating the convergence of the very extremist interest in our Muslim community that we call the Islamists, who believe in political Islam and the use of Islamic law, for example, in governance, with their marriage with the far left. And this is really troubling in the United States, as we've now seen over this past year, with these campus protests and basic, hijacking of our streets with anti-Jewish, anti-Israel protests. And so I've been following it for 22 years because my, sense of duty was really ignited after the 9/11 attacks. And then I went to Pakistan for the reporting that we did as journalists. And there, my great friend and colleague from the Wall Street Journal, Danny Pearl, was kidnapped. Yeah, that's where Danny was kidnapped. And that's when I saw firsthand the cost that comes if we are not vigilant in understanding who the threat is in trying to destroy our nations and innocent people like Danny.
Let me go back, though, Azra. I was all set to go through here because it is incredibly detailed what you've uncovered coming to Washington, and you link it to stuff that we've seen before. But Islamist and the left. Now, I understand it from the left side. We've seen them, the slightest hint that we might see radical Islam involved in something, and they jump to defense. Why would the Islamists ally with people who, if they took over, I think these would be the first people they might go after?
Because the Islamists believe they will win.
Okay.
And so it's a marriage of convenience, and they exploit the power and the people that the socialists and self-declared Marxists have in the West. they have a network of people, right? So it puts the Islamist power on the streets on steroids. And they create this, I call it the myth of the marching millions. And so you create one viral video storming the gates of the White House, and it seems like you've got millions of people when in fact it's tens of thousands, but they create a threat, and they have an objective to destabilize our country. And so why do I care is because my family is a Muslim family from India. I immigrated here when I was 4 years old to New Jersey, and went through Philadelphia, went by there, saw the sights as a young girl. And this country gave my family more freedoms than we would know in any Muslim country. And so I do not want to see the sectarianism that has destroyed other nations in America. And that's what they're importing here. That's foreign malign interests like China, Russia, Iran that are stoking these organizations. And what I know is that as a journalist, is that we have to expose all of this with truthfulness and transparency. And it connects to the story you just talked about regarding CNN, because as we've seen, the legacy media has failed in really just reporting the news as it is and not creating narratives, that fulfill their kind of imagination. And that's what happened with this story that CNN just lost on in the defamation lawsuit. And in our street protests, they never report out the names that I've chronicled in this latest Fox News article.
I don't know how one person, I thought you had an organization here. Because I really love detail, and it is incredibly detailed, the map of what they're going to do. So what are we, in 2016, we saw some of it. It seemed to be limited to the downtown, throwing bricks through windows, stores and all, which is bad enough. It spoils kind of the day. But what do you think they're planning on doing with the Trump inauguration this time?
Yeah, and what's beautiful is that they give us the blueprint always, and all you have to do is ask. So I've been covering Washington, D.C. politics, if you can believe it, since I was 18 years old. So it's been 40 years through so many administrations. And I know those streets, and I know I've covered so many protests and rallies. So I know the traffic pattern, right? You could hire me out.
Well, you know what? I know you're close by and we're friends because we were just back from Washington, my wife, the Bible thing, and we had someone that's lived there in the suburbs all their life, and yet still, why does this street run this way? Why does it dead end?
Oh,
it makes no sense.
Yeah, but there is sense to it once you know it. Like I've walked it, and so 2016, Women's March created the quote resistance, and now if anybody's missed it, they've rebranded as the People's March because nobody cares about women anymore apparently. So now what has happened is there's a parallel network that has put forward these street protests and campus protests, and it's run by organizations with really innocuous names like the Answer Coalition and Code Pink, which anybody who knows them knows that they're far left activists, but they sound innocuous enough. And so so Answer Coalition filed a petition of application with the Park Service for a protest on January 20th. And the irony of this that I write about in this Fox News column is that they are the ones that had the application in this past summer to protest Benjamin Netanyahu speaking in Congress. And if people remember, the videos that came out that day, they were of a young man who climbed a statue and wrote, "Hamas is coming." They brought down the U.S. flag and burnt it to a crisp. I saw it myself, the ashes, and they tackled park police. In minutes, their permit was revoked on that day. But the irony is that our free First Amendment and our free speech rights make it so that the courts have not allowed past behavior, if you can believe this, to impugn, the organization's reputation when it comes to a new application. So sure enough, on Monday, the Answer Coalition has got plans for the parallel protest. Exactly. And they're going to be going down. I got the map. I'm going to post it soon. They've got Constitution Avenue, the north side and the south side sidewalks. They've got the Lincoln Memorial. Can you believe this? I mean, the inauguration is going to be barricaded, but nonetheless, they're going to be really close at the Washington Monument. And the past is prologue, so they will try to replicate what they have done in the past with damage to memorials and tussles with the police, because they want those viral videos, right? Yeah. And why I wrote this article days ahead is because I want everybody's eyes wide open, because the reporters are going to report out thousands of protesters.
Got your point, right? Yes.
Yeah, erupt in demonstration against Trump because they want to have this narrative that the electoral vote did not reflect the public opinion.
Yeah,
on
you know
the
what?
street.
You know what kills them? Trump winning every swing state, but the popular vote won by Trump. I don't know about you, Ozra. I never thought that would happen in a million years. They can't let that stand that he won the popular vote.
Yeah, I knew it would happen, honestly, because I've been reporting this past year from Ohio to Indiana in the back roads, on a bunch of different stories, and saw so many Trump signs everywhere, in swing counties, even if the state normally went Republican. If you remember, I grew up in Morgantown, West Virginia, and my family's still there, and you will see the Trump signs, from the trailer park to the $1 million mansion. Yes, we have them in West Virginia, and so it's clear that that he struck a nerve with America, but unfortunately, the media loves the anti-Trump story, and they will get it on Monday. And I just want people to know these organizations. When you go to the column, I've got a link literally to the Google spreadsheet where I've got the names of every organization. I've categorized them by whether they're self-described socialists, of which there's 25 organizations, whether they're Muslim, Arab, Palestinian, of which there's about 10 organizations, and the rest are what I call socialist adjacent. So we know, it's not the YMCA, right? It's not the Girl Scouts.
Exactly.
It's people.
Well,
it's people with socialist and Islamist
it is a
agendas.
masterwork bringing it all together. Ozra, thank you, and please keep us in the loop. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I just want you guys to know, I just looked it up, and they've got 1400 JFK Boulevard for Philadelphia, January 20th at 2 p.m. So when you see the videos coming out of Philadelphia, you're going to know who's behind these protests. It's a national effort that they've got in cities across the country. Their website is wefightback2025.org, and I'm, sharing it with you all in the spirit of transparency, so that when you see those crazy videos, you'll know where it's coming from.
Ozra, thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Please come back again soon. Thanks,
Okay.
Ozra.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, Ozra Namani, just a great voice, too, a great diction. All right, so there's a little backdrop, what you're going to see, and she's right, what the media will claim. The big story, though, defamation case, CNN loses. I'm trying to calculate, it's at least $5 million here, with defaming this Officer Young in the Navy in several instances. Here we go again. The Stephanopoulos, ABC, deep pockets and all that, but you keep on getting hit with this stuff, it hurts. And it seems like we're going to see more and more of it. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210. Look, Independence Hall is sacred. Independence Hall, I'm looking at a report just came down, has been graffitied overnight. Making head or tail out of it. Erotica was one of the words. The park police. I know you can't prevent everything. There's an odd statue here and there. There's a vast part of history downtown. But you mean to say you can't protect Independence Hall? That ought to be job one, don't you think? No. You're not going to be doing this with Independence Hall, the crown jewel. All right, phone lines. Get in with Dom now.
So one of the
Yes.
audio things developing out of this,
Yes.
I guess we'll hear it after the break, is CNN's lawyer.
Right.
It's gone viral. One of the arguments that he made is that the network being hit with this $5 million in punitive damages will harm the company financially and hinder its ability to report on major breaking news events like wildfires and crises around the world.
All right, we'll play that coming up. Poor CNN. And now Jim Acosta, in a make-up with Trump, might be exiled to the Midnight Show. That's what CNN's reporting today. All right, 855. I kind of like Acosta in the White House when he was there with the Trump thing, particularly when they took the mic off him one time. Oh, my God. 855-839-1210.
Join us for the next Crash Proof Retirement educational event to witness documentation and learn how you can earn double-digit interest returns like many of our Crash Proof clients with none of the pitfalls of investing on the market.
Roseanne Fitzgerald, Upper Darby, Pennsylvania. With Crash Proof, we earn 20% interest, which is credited. What we've earned can never be taken away.
Marilyn Becker's, Malvern, Pennsylvania. The 13% and 20% returns we received this year gets added to the principal. There's no fees, and you can sleep at night. You can't get that on Wall Street.
Paul Wirtz. I'm from Philadelphia. I earned 24% this year. No matter what happens in the future this year or next year, I know that my principal is protected, my retirement is secure.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the Copperfield Inn, January 22nd, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Upgrade your bathroom with Emmons Remodeling.
We offer custom design, build, renovation services to fit your style and budget. Our designers work closely with you to create the perfect space for you and your family.
Experience luxury and functionality with the expert team at Emmons.
So call us at 856-885-6677. Again, that's 856-885-6677, or visit us at callemmons.com. From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered. Score the winning touchdown at Borgata during the Big Screen Blitz. Earn entries for your chance to be one of the lucky winners to get an 85-inch Samsung Smart TV, valued at $1,100. Drawings every Saturday, now through January 25th. Score big during the Big Screen Blitz. Only at Borgata Hotel, Casino, and Spa. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-784-4538. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Help USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-784-4538. 800-784-4538. 800-784-4538.
Hey, Warminster, we know your favorite station is WPHT.
Tell your smart speaker to play 1210 WPHT.
All right, Dom time, 855-839-1210. I'm coming to you. We'll get a couple people in here. Give us a non-actor who really wowed him or was really bad in a film or TV show. Dan, do you have that sound? Here's CNN, the defamation, their attorney, the argument. By the way, the attorney was David Axelrod. Not the David Axelrod. Another David Axelrod.
There's another one?
Was the CNN attorney, yes.
You heard General Young, plaintiff's expert, testify, and he kind of made this offhand comment, and I thought it was very interesting. He said he was watching the coverage of the wildfires in Los Angeles, which are really heartbreaking. And he said that CNN's coverage was outstanding. And he wasn't wrong. Because when natural disasters break out, CNN is there. And that's hurricanes, that's wildfires, that's earthquakes. When conflicts erupt, like some of the ones we've heard in this case, CNN's there. And providing all of that content, that really important content's expensive. But it has a really tremendous value. Because we as Americans need to understand what our fellow Americans are going through if they're in California, or if they're on the Gulf Coast and get hit by a hurricane, or if there's an earthquake in Northern California, or if there's a war in Ukraine. All those things are really valuable. So you've made a decision that CNN's liable, but that doesn't mean that there isn't, a reasonable path forward. So over the next few hours, and I hope it doesn't take that long, you're going to hear about CNN's net worth. And you're going to see that the net worth of the company is actually in a subtle decline. You're also going to hear about the headwinds facing the entire media
What a
environment.
master of understatement. All right, I'm going to make a... Now, anytime you see these defamation cases, it brings me back, I hate to say it, Sullivan versus the New York Times, where did they defame him or not? That was the moot court competition at Rutgers Night School that I won. And I'll never forget how hard it is to prove defamation. And to do it in this public sense. Same thing for Trump, a public figure like that, to prove defamation, it's shocking. So another media giant, $5 million here, at least it appears to be. It was $15 million in the case with Stephanopoulos and Trump. So are we
for the better good, though, Don? They need the money to report on these wildfires.
I'm just saying that
they should be able to defame people just so they can continue their great reporting.
It takes a lot to prove defamation. You really, it has to be blatant. They got the best attorneys, arguably, et cetera, et cetera. So shocking stuff. All right, we continue at 855-839-1210. Hit us with somebody who played in a role that's a non-actor but was good or really bad. Let's go to Dwayne. Hey, Dwayne, welcome in. What's yours?
Hi, Dom. The side question, what popped into my head was my mom and I just watched for the second time 1883. And I was born in Fort Worth, and that's what they call Hell's Half Acre in the beginning. Well, anyway, I just thought Tim McGraw and Faith Hill did a nice job with the Sutton matriarch and patriarch of Yellowstone.
All right, good one. I have not seen that, so I'll try to think about judging it. Mark in Conshohocken. Mark, who's yours?
Ooh. Hey, Don. Andre the Giant.
When?
In what? Yeah, what?
Princess Bride, 1987.
Fezzik.
Okay. And why that? What did you like about that, Mark?
Well, he never seemed like an actor, so for him to do that, that's kind of remarkable.
Well, a number of these wrestlers, let's face it, The Rock's the best example. They are actors of a sense, but not professional actors. And then when they go and do a role, Cena's another one, they're pretty good.
Well, was Fezzik a good performance, though? I mean, Andre the Giant just played kind of a big oaf to a degree. Yeah. It's not a really hard part to play.
Well,
He's not doing much dramatic acting.
He
did play a pretty good big oaf, yes.
Yeah, well, the biggest oaf. Okay. Thank you, Mark. All right, that's what we're looking for. Bob Uecker, passing away, I believe, at the age of 90. Apparently just an unbelievable guy. Big 1 o'clock hour. A lot of this stuff to break down. Linda Kearns will be here at 2 o'clock. Guess what? They're going back to the Supreme Court, the other side, on mail-in ballots again. There's another. And again, I know you can say, some people get depressed. You shouldn't think that way. It gives us another opportunity to beat them back down again. That's what it's about. And Monday, the biggest celebration of the year. And you'll be there with me right at noon. It doesn't matter if Trump's indoor, outdoor, whether he's taken the oath or not. At noon, exactly, not 1 second before or after, that's when he's president. What will Joe Biden be thinking at that moment? Well, 855-839-1210.
The good and bad with home improvement projects. The good, you save a buck or two. The bad.
Kevin, there's no hot water.
So you move on to the car.
Kevin, what's with the car?
Good news, you can recover from these.
Kevin!
Well, most all of them. But when it comes to your retirement, a mistake can be devastating.
Call Joe Yakovich at JML Financial Group. He's been helping folks prepare for retirement for over 30 years. That's why he's able to correct your do-it-yourself problems before they're problems.
Get your complimentary assessment of where you are now and look at some of the retirement boxes you haven't even thought of.
Kevin!
You can't YouTube your retirement. Call Joe Yakovich at 856-925-6674 or visit jmlfinancialgroup.com. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
The working families of Laona Labor District Council of Pennsylvania, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia are proud contributors to all aspects of growth in this great city. The Labor District Council provides safe, well-trained, productive workers who enable projects to be done on time and under budget. We appreciate our signatory contractors and their commitment to fairness and equality. Laborers, we're building a better future today.
Brought to you by the Laborers District Council Licit Fund.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, police officers, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
Damon John here, the People Shark. I want to share a secret that's changing people's lives. There is a company called National Debt Relief that can help you get out of debt faster than you ever thought possible, like 12 to 48 months from now. With National Debt Relief, you can cut your minimum credit card payments by 50% and pay as little as $250 a month. Imagine, instead of paying multiple high interest payments every month, you can make one low monthly program payment, plus you can get approved in just a few minutes. They've helped hundreds of thousands of people just like you. Trust me when I tell you, National Debt Relief's got your back and can help you get back on track.
To learn how you can reduce your credit card debt and become debt-free, call 800-234-7799. 800-234-7799. Again, that's 800-234-7799.
Don't wait, apply today.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it is Dom time here on Talk Radio 1210, 855-839-1210, AT&T and Verizon Wireless. You just push pound 1210. So Linda Kearns at 2 o'clock. Don't forget us at the NAC, the Newtown Athletic Club, this Monday. And you just heard from a couple really brilliant people, and Riley Gaines and Azra Nomani. But the TikTok thing, again, I'm not going to deflect on this. I'm not sure what Biden's going to do. We're a little bit up in the air. In other words, will there be a TikTok or will it be shut down? Will it go dark until Trump, by executive order, sort of, I don't know how executive order is going to top the Supreme Court ruling. This is the law of the land now. I looked at the 27 pages of their decision, and I think they're perfectly positioned on this. You see this as some kind of plot toward what? And I just think calling this a defense of the First Amendment when the Chinese are using this, there's other modalities, there will be other stuff, and we're not getting rid of it. We're not suppressing speech in that manner. We're saying we can't let the enemy use this. It will divest until it gets to an American company, primarily American, I think. That's where we're going. Is that too much of an intrusion? The Supreme Court, 9-0. That's rare. Now, I know some people use that and say, well, it's just a deep state again. They're all in this together. Is that really what it's about? Or is this common sense that was thought out on this? We've gotten some callers, though. They're offended. They want to stand on the First Amendment. They want to say, it starts with this, then they'll do it to other things. All right. Communist Chinese Party. It's stunning to me to hear that kind of argument. And I played you Pam Bondi yesterday in the testimony, and she was smart legally to say this. She hasn't seen the files of the January 6 people. But come January 6th, the policy that she maintains, and that means Trump, We're not going to be pardoning people who engaged in violence. Now, that's a term of art. What are we defining that? I told you about this guy Mosley, who's represented Zach Rill, who is from this area, was one of the people you saw most in the news around this, saying that, there's a lot of overcharging here. And I think there is. Those people might be commuted. He also says not that many people were violent. I don't know about that. We saw with our own eyes attacks on cops in some instances. Those people shouldn't be pardoned for this unless the sentence exceeds what you would usually get in that situation. So it seems to me we got a lot of cases here. I'm not sure that on inaugural day that Trump is going to issue this pardon thing. They may be still going through these because I will bet it's not going to be a blanket pardon, meaning he's not going to just say anybody in jail now, go home free. And he's not going to do that, nor should he do that. Argument is he promised that. I don't think that's the case. All right, 855-839-1210. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, all you have to do is just push pound 1210 and we'll get you on board. Are you still dying on that hill with TikTok after the Supreme Court decision? And the argument, I've seen some people argue, President Trump's going to use this for leverage over the Chinese. He's going to get something and they get to keep on doing TikTok. I don't think that's a good bargain. I don't see it that way. It is popular. It is something that the argument is a lot of people that are, say, under 40, at least maybe under 30, maybe around 20 even, are going to say, oh, yeah, Trump saved TikTok. Is that where we want to go? And we made the arguments yesterday. It was pretty intense about how toxic this is, about how much information they extract, how evil they are. Why in the world would we continue to go that way when there's an alternative? Keep the same modalities, but it's not going to be run by China for whatever their purposes are.
Going viral now, Shuzi Shu, the CEO of TikTok, responded to the ban and thanked Trump because apparently they're going to work on a way that finds a solution to make TikTok available or continue to allow TikTok to be available in the United States. Take a listen.
Hi, everyone. It's Shu here. As you know, we have been fighting to protect the constitutional right to free speech.
Stop for 1 second, Dan. You know what? I don't know if I can get through this. I may have to. Remember I told you the straight jacket. I may need the muzzle today on it. Let's recalibrate with this guy. And when I've seen him testify, I think this is the guy. It's like, I feel like saying, you know what, buddy? I'll wait the 2 minutes. Then I'm going to let you have it. Shut up about the Constitution here. Here we go.
You know, we have been fighting to protect the constitutional right to free speech
for
the more than 170 million Americans who use our platform every day to connect, create, discover, and achieve their dreams. On behalf of everyone at TikTok and all our users across the country, I want to thank President Trump for his commitment to work with us to find a solution that keeps TikTok available in the United States. This is a strong stand for the First Amendment and against arbitrary censorship. As we've said, TikTok is a place where people can create communities, discover new interests, and express themselves, including over 7 million Americans.
Hey, he just goes on CEO talk.
Okay, well, we have a solution. We know what the solution is. We want the Communist Chinese Party out of this. It can be American companies. Let's get busy on the deal. You had up until now, by the way, this was Sunday is, I guess, the reason for the January 19th is it is the date where the deal should have been worked out. They gave him a period of time. All right, we need another couple months. But no, I'm tired of this. Everybody thinking they're hiding behind the Constitution. The Constitution's not a suicide pact. It's this is as blatant as it gets. Anybody can yell the First Amendment. And it's just like a get out of jail free card. Now, I think we have to be really careful. Granted, there's a reason why the First Amendment's so important. We know that. But a guy like this spouting the Constitution, etc., why are you buying into that? Now, it seems to be there is a deep state. I played you the cut of the new Treasury Secretary saying, no, we're not going to do the digital dollar. I agree. But I also think that, in addition to the deep state and trying to root that out and deal with it, there are people that are bank shotting off that. In other words, they have an agenda. President Trump is very popular on TikTok. That's fine. Helped him get over the election. Okay, I can overlook that. But now it comes a time to stop this, or at least move it to an American company, and there he can continue to be popular. Now, you know, the Democrats are the ones, and look, Trump did reach younger voters. I'd love to hear people say, we'll make it under 35 for our purposes. We don't have to go down to 18-year-olds. What is it that moved the needle for Trump this time around with younger voters? I don't know that there was one thing that just appealed to younger voters, except he went into forums where younger voters are. He actually went into them versus Harris and others. Not just Rogan, but a whole litany of people. That's the one difference that I saw. Maybe some coaching from Barron Trump. We had the guy, what was his name, Andy Busiewicz. And he was pretty compelling. I think he's 27, who coached up Trump toward going to some of these things. That's all good. Republicans are owning this stuff. Jon Stewart said they're like Kennedy in TV. The right, people on the right, are owning these modalities. That's all good, and Trump plays well in them. I'm all on board with that. But do we have to be like Democrats and say, I'm going to forgive your student loan debt? Isn't this the play here with TikTok? I'm going to save TikTok for you. It's already able to be saved. We just want the Chinese out of it. It does two things: the data mining, the national security, and they are trying to undermine our society. Now, do you not believe they're trying to undermine our society? We talked to Henry, and Henry knows how to avoid it. I get that. But a lot of people don't seem to. The best example that I know of is the mentality that a lot of people under 40, under 35 have about Israel and Gaza. And I think most of it, or almost all of it, is made up. It's not factual in any sense. But you see how virulent it is. Where are they getting that from? Where else are they getting? Colleges, I get it, but this is the most appealing way to get that message forward.
Yeah, I think part of the resentment is that they see, a lot of our money getting thrown over there like it is to the Ukraine. I think people just get sick of that, and they get sick of, paying for all these wars that, people here, most people at least, really don't care about.
Well, I think with Israel, it's biggest ally.
And I understand that they are our biggest ally, but I think people are becoming more and more isolationists as things in America.
There's a great I want to underline that, Henry.
Okay.
People are becoming more and more isolationist, as if that might be a purpose of the app, no?
Oh, are we talking about TikTok still, or are we talking
about...
Yeah,
TikTok. Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying, look, the Chinese are good, the app's in good hands under them. I just think a lot of people also feel like, I think I'm in this boat as well, that if you do hand it over to an American company, who's to say they're also not going to undermine America as well? I mean, we've seen it from all these companies.
But again, the only thing I can make is my case, and I think I would get into a brawl there with this guy. I can't take it. I clearly see China as the greatest existential threat, more than any dictator we've ever seen because of their power. And more than their power, I understand this because I'm the ultimate incrementalist. I'm going to win by an inch at a time. Mm-hmm. They're brilliant at this. And that's why we need people like me that wake up every day and say, we're going to beat the hell out of you today, tomorrow, the next week. We have the advantage over them in creativity, long-term and all that. What they are, though, they are just driven every second. The NBA is the best example I'll ever give you. That LeBron James and Barkley can still go back in America after they told us to shut up about something like this. The nation that gave us COVID covered it up and killed us.
Well, yeah, that NBA makes a lot of money from China.
Yeah. Exactly. LeBron or Barkley, I think it was Barkley, said, shut up about this. There's a lot of money involved.
Yeah. I think it was Barkley because he just says whatever.
Yeah. How in the world? Look, we were never dependent on Nazi Germany, Russia in this manner. We are interdependent, cheap goods, even our medical supplies with them. And every day it becomes harder and harder to pull apart from them. They are insidious. I'm talking about the government and significant numbers of people that are controlled there. They brutalize their own people. I mean, beyond belief.
And I really think if you often hear people call in and they say it feels like the fabric of society is being torn apart by the seams.
Yeah.
And I think that's a effort by the Chinese, by the East, to take on the West, Western values, non-communist values, and essentially divide us in a similar way to the KGB would with the Soviets. Expert defector, a KGB defector, Yuri Bezmenov, describes what it is ideological subversion. Take a listen.
Ideological subversion is the slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country.
I know you played that, I think, when we had the Morabito woman on and some other things. It's compelling. The only thing, and the Russians are not good at it, not like this. The Chinese have found a vehicle, would be my point, that is incredibly effective on this stuff. By the views, I'm not sure by the mechanism itself. Is there something about the delivery? The things the Russians did, Dan, were kind of ham-handed. I always go back to them in the Trump campaign saying miners for Trump and misspelling miners are going to, miners, like people, coal miners, are going to be meeting at the Marconi Plaza to support Trump. And they got caught in ads like this. They're ham-handed. The Chinese are not. They know what they're doing. At least some of them do, I think.
Can I play another one of my favorite clips from Moon, a YouTuber who explains how China is using their idea of role models to ideologically subvert the culture? Take a listen. I'm muted. Give me 1 sec.
Children and teenagers is a flaw of the internet in general and not really specific to TikTok. But TikTok is designed with a pillar of the CCP's original propaganda philosophy in mind, the construction of role models. There's a reason why China's version of TikTok, Douyin, is so different from the version they send to the rest of the world. If you're a child under the age of 14 in China, Douyin shows you the educational videos like science experiments and museum exhibits, with the rest of Chinese TikTok showing hardworking everyday civilians helping their country and sacrificing for the greater communist good. And yet if you're that same child in the United States, TikTok shows you sex, vandalism, crime, social disruption, and other dopamine satisfying degenerate clips. And when preteens in the US and China were surveyed, asking what is the most aspirational career they hope to achieve, the number one answer in the US was to be a social media influencer, while in China, it was to be an astronaut. Which is why it's clear that Mao's old method of creating idols has been turned on its head and used as a weapon.
And they make their domestic version a spinach version of TikTok, while they ship the opium version to the rest of the world.
What China uses to unify their population culturally is now being used to sow dissent and weaken the population of the West. And it's evident that the role models that Generation Z is exposed to almost always come from TikTok. But it's not just the idea that these TikTokers have social...
All right, that's good. I love the opium spinach. By the way, we have something, Voice of America. Have you ever heard Voice of America? It's well-meaning, but reaching people in other countries, there's no pizzazz there. There's nothing that's going to subtly do that. It's just telling them there's hope in the world, America, all that stuff. We have propaganda too, but we're not using a vehicle like this. The guy made a great point there. Theirs is being an astronaut, ours is being an influencer. But, regulating that would be harder under the First Amendment. I concede. If there weren't the Chinese Communist Party, the data, the other insidious stuff they're doing, it might be we can't on the First Amendment say, well, this is toxic to American kids, so we're going to ban it. That might be a great First Amendment case. All right, a lot of folks want to get in. Here's how you do it. 855-839-1210. Of course, it stuns you when someone says First Amendment, and we hear you wouldn't like your First Amendment rights. I agree, but there's an alternative here. The company doesn't go away. It just moves to American ownership, American control. That's where it goes. I mean, we're talking about not selling real estate to anybody associated with communist China. I've even said, and if we pass these laws, some states have, and they violate them and they're a front for it, they should be charged with treason. That's what we're up against. They don't get any land in this country. Why would we give them the ability to have this type of influence? They shouldn't have any land here. You know anything they do with it is not in our interest. Why would we roll over? Because it's hard. Because it's never ending. They don't stop. Can we beat them, ultimately, over the long course of time? I think we can. The longer it goes on, the better chance we have if we remain strong, because they're not creative. They're just driven. They're just evil. That's the bottom line. That's what you're up against. 855-839-1210. That's how you get in. Hit me on the side question, too, on Talk Radio 1210.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. Isn't it time to invest in yourself? Well, how about this? Start a PI Dental Center with decades of experience in complex dental treatment, and I've been a patient of PI Dental for 20 years. Dr. Glenn Wolfinger and Dr. Robert Slough, they're board-certified prosthodontists. They specialize in the restoration and replacement of teeth, and PI Dental Center are the originators of the teeth in a day. It's a revolutionary treatment that delivers fixed teeth and implants placed for a dramatic transformation in a mere 1 day. So visit PIDentalCenter.com. That's PIDentalCenter.com to request your new patient evaluation.
Drive off in your dream car with an auto loan from American Heritage Credit Union. We're proud to offer low rates and flexible terms to ensure you're getting the vehicle you truly want. Lock in with low monthly payments and terms up to 84 months. Or if your lease is nearing its end, consider a lease buyout to stick with your reliable vehicle. To learn more, visit AmericanHeritageCU.org/auto. Insured by NCUA. Not a member? Join today. Equal Opportunity Lender.
Did you know this is the busiest season for plumbers? All the parties, tons of people eating at one house. That's when garbage disposals get treated like wood choppers and pipes get backed up like the airport at Thanksgiving. Blah. But don't worry, Horizon Services has the experts in same-day service to handle it all. Clogs, leaks, busted pipes. And right now you'll get $50 off any plumbing repair. Horizon will also give you up to $400 off any water heater installation. I mean, if you like hot showers. Book today at horizonservices.com.
New year, new ride. Start off the new year with Hessert Chevrolet of Cherry Hill, formerly Mall Chevrolet. Get fantastic finance and lease offers on a wide selection of new models. Whether you're looking to lease or finance, we have great deals to help you drive into the new year in style. Hessert Chevy of Cherry Hill offers one of the largest inventories in the area. For over 40 years, the Hessert family has been a trusted part of this community. Together, let's drive. Visit HessertChevyCH.com.
Hessert Chevrolet! The election is over and a new pro-business administration's about to begin. At Swish Funding, we're ready to help America's small businesses thrive in 25. Whether it's for cash flow, expansion, or new equipment, Swish Funding has flexible funding options from $25,000 up to $2 million. You could get a decision in minutes and cash in your account in as little as 24 hours, with rates as low as 8%. To qualify, be in business at least 1 year, with monthly revenue of at least $50,000. Apply today at swishfunding.com. SWISH funding.com.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Free speech in Philly on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
The Chinese national anthem. Not as good as the Russian national. Now, that national anthem is one you can get behind. It has the ethos of Russia into it. There you go. There's Putin. Yeah. Just think of the Russians, though. Their advantages and as propagandists versus something like YouTube. Who came up with this? It's a big difference. All right, let's go to Charlie in Jeffersonville on Talk Radio 1210. Hello, Charlie.
Dominic, nice to talk to you.
Same here.
Dominic, I met you a long time ago. You're still on top of your game.
Well, thank you.
I want to say something, though. You've been making a lot of comments about January 6th and violence and stuff like that. You're a guy that's very prone and you have all kinds of access to all kinds of material to find out what's going on. I'd like you very much to go to Tucker Carlson and a gentleman by the name of Clay Higgins. He's a senator. He may not be a senator. He's a state representative.
Yes,
he's a
I know.
congressperson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. He gave an interview to Tucker Carlson 1 year ago. Tucker Carlson was the first person to respond to him. Clay Higgins is a sheriff. He's very credible. He did a full investigation on January 6th. He studied the footage, videos for 2 months. Him and his staff of 12 people studied it for 2 months. And he said this: that day on January 6th, there were at least 200 to 400 people in the Capitol building before anybody even showed up, dressed as Trump supporters. We were clearly and without a doubt set up.
Well, does that mean, though, let's just put that aside or stipulate it. Let's even say it's true, which I think that we know about the FBI, and we know that people that didn't need to be there that day and they got off with stuff. We know about all that. But we actually do know, we see with our own eyes, the attacks on police. You're saying those were not people that went to jail?
No, I'm not saying there were people who didn't do some things wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But we also had a lot of people who provoked. Do you understand what mob mentality is, and you can create it?
Sure.
Of course you do. Of course you do. Well, it was done that day. The FBI set us up for months. They initiated the January 6th turnout. I was invited down there on December 6th, and I was told routinely, come down for the big celebration, come down for the big party. The vast majority of people there were just down there to celebrate because they actually believed that Trump had won.
Okay, all a given, but come on now, Charlie, you can't deny that instigating to attack cops, whatever the person says, whatever they do, that's not going to provoke people that are pro-police, pro-American, etc. You had people that committed violence there. That's what we're talking about, and I agree. There are hundreds of others that were
people there.
Right, that were overturned.
There were also people there who initiated and instigated an uprising of people within the people. I understand, but that's my job was when I was in the Army, to observe and watch propaganda.
Well, let me ask you, though, Charlie, why do you think Bondi answered that way, and why do you think that that's a signal of what Trump's going to do? You seem to not agree with that.
It's the same reason why Trump said, I believe, and he said this, he's on record, he said this in September, I believe all the J6s should be set free, but I will check every state. I'll check every case. I will check them out. And Bondi and Trump had to say that because there are a lot of people they have to placate because they can't just come out there and say, I'm going to let everybody free. They've got a lot of people they're trying to, let's just say, make everybody happy. So they've got to say certain things. But that's what he has said. He's on record for saying that.
Well, wait a minute. So you think he's going to, on January 6th, free everybody?
I don't see how he can't.
Okay, right. We shouldn't. That's my point. This has to be case by case. Arguably, even some people that did some things there, I'd have to see each individual case, Charlie, as it comes up. They were overcharged. They were put away for too long.
Absolutely.
They ought to be commuted now. And
I know.
He will pardon the people, not just commute, but pardon who were inadvertent in some stuff or did something that was a misdemeanor that was bumped up. You're going to see a lot of that. But there were people that actually attacked cops, and I'm never going to support that.
No, and look, my son's a police officer. I was going to be a police officer. I'm with you. You, Dominic. But I'm saying we were set up. There were people in that crowd, and I don't mean 10 or 15. I mean maybe several hundreds who were there to initiate and instigate things.
All right, Charlie.
I know because
thank you, Charlie. Thanks for a great call. All right, we'll wait and see what Trump, but I'm playing that, what Bondi said, because I think that's what the stance is going to be, and that's what the stance ought to be. Yeah, we know about this with the FBI. We still don't know about the pipe bomber. We still don't know about a million other things. Now, Kash Patel gets it. I'll tell you this. The Trump people, and not that I think they ought to go down the route of going after prosecution here necessarily. They've issued a directive to the FBI to preserve all documents, to preserve everything. Now, this is criminal if they don't, involving the FBI DEI office. Now, why are they doing that? They're doing that so we get to the bottom that the country can see when Kash Patel, if that confirmation ever happens, a hearing, that Kash Patel can get to the bottom of how rotten the FBI has become. I'm talking about at every level. They're not qualified on top of everything else. So they're under directive, legal directive now, not to remove anything. They shut down the DEI office just in the last couple of days. Why are they doing that? 855.
Who was it up there?
Yeah, who was anti-Italian?
Your last caller. He goes, yeah, Dom, mob mentality. I'm sure you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
I think that's a shot at Italians, isn't it?
I didn't even catch that.
No, I thought he meant I was an expert in mob mentality. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
Is that what you say? You're an expert because of your last name? Is that what it is?
Look, in some circles, it's easy to be, in my view, a Yahoo and just say free them all. Not that Charlie was saying that ultimately. Clearly to me, I know what Higgins has said, and Tucker Carlson leaves some things to be desired when he, facts are inconvenient with him.
My father taught me many things. He taught me in this room. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Thank you, Charlie. Thanks for that memory. Anything for us to get into the Godfather film. All right, 855-839-1210. We're looking on the side question. There were a lot. David Chase was brilliant with The Sopranos. I think, is Bobby Bacala, was he an actor? I can't imagine.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think he was.
Really, anyone,
no.
Most of the people in that show weren't.
And the best that played a mob figure there, and I think it was the way he smoked a cigarette, Johnny Sack. There's just a name. The Sack thing and the cigarette as a device was just unbelievable.
And he loves his wife.
Yeah, well, yes, the whole thing with the wife, and is there no honor? Constantly with the honor. What kind of thing is this? We're honorable. He was convincing as a cut above the rest of them, really. All right, not that Jenny would be his wife. There was a polarity there. The old-fashioned ones would have a wife like Jenny. The others is going to be all over the place.
Right.
They never showed Johnny Sack with Gumas. No,
because he wouldn't do it.
No, he wouldn't do it. Yeah. 855-839. Frankie Valli was in it, and he didn't come across as a mobster at all. I think that was their point. They made him like, how could this guy, win in a mob war, right? But the Big P guy, man, that's in my top 10 experiences. I'm thinking, what the hell is happening? What should I do here? I'm thinking, I'm at the home show, downtown Philadelphia. What's the worst they can do? I'm not backing down. You can stand behind me, but I'm not. What's wrong with you? I almost said to him at one point. I wish I had that tape, Henry. I was like, I went out of my way to pretend that you're an actor of sorts, a thespian. And you're getting just fresh and just arrogant beyond belief. But part of me was saying, keep the interview going. This is great. I can't get enough of this. All right, 855-839-1210. I wish O'Reilly were interviewing the Big P there. That would have been a brawl. Yeah, that would have not ended well. All right, jump in on TikTok. The January 6th thing, what's going to happen? By the way, I am not in agreement with doing the swearing in inside. Now you're seeing a whole array of people saying we ought to do the whole ceremony inside. I know it's freezing there. It's a difficult thing, but I just think you have to. And you know what it underlines to me? How big of a disadvantage Los Angeles has coming into Philadelphia. It's one thing to say it's cold. Then when you get hit and it's cold at the fourth or fifth time doing that, and you're used to California.
Yeah.
Huge advantage.
Oh, I'd hate to be a Jared Verse making those comments about the fans.
Oh, yeah, the fans here in Philadelphia.
And then he's going to go up against Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson. Have fun with that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's if I were betting, I think the spread should be a couple more points with snow coming. I bet it changes.
I think 65% of the public's on the Rams. Plus 6, yeah.
Well, that is a lot of points. True, particularly with an unreliable field goal kicker. So, yeah. I've heard that on WIP they're calling him Missy Elliott. Not nice. All right. 855-839-1210. Jump in. Come into your calls next on Talk Radio 1210. All right, let's talk, my friends here who are looking to help you achieve your health goals and start the new year right. Now's the time to optimize and support your heart health, cholesterol, digestive health, energy levels, and more with Rescue Natural Supplements with their New Year's savings. Rescue is celebrating you. Save 35% on single bottles of Rescue supplements with the code HEALTH35. Try this popular Rescue 1250 Omega-3 for heart health, Rescue Probiotic for better digestion, or Rescue Orosine for more energy. Whatever your health goals, Rescue has you covered. To place an order, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a Rescue product consultant or shop online at res-q.com, res-q.com. Start your journey to better health today. Use that code HEALTH35. Again, save 35% on all single supplements with the code HEALTH35. Don't wait. You can make this new year the best yet with Rescue.
Let's hit them all now while we got the muscle.
Mob mentality is and you
Sure,
create it?
sure.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
I'm Jalen Hurst here for Window Nation. If you're a fan of saving money, listen up.
Right now, get 50% off all window styles. Plus, you could get 0 interest and 0 payments for 2 years. Sale ends January 31st, so schedule your consult now at 866-90Nation or at windownation.com. Tell them you heard it on WPHT.
Don't pay more than you have to for new windows. Call 866-90Nation or visit windownation.com.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Quite a surprise pivot for the 76ers, the team striking a deal reportedly with Comcast Spectacor to remain in the South Philadelphia sports complex.
Is this a loss for Sherelle Parker? This would go down as one of the highlights of her tenure.
I think that's why she was excited about it.
So in a 72-hour stretch, Macy's, no more in the Wanamaker building, and you don't get the arena.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app. Broadcasting live from the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Do you understand what mob mentality is and you can create it?
Sure.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
All right, Tom Giordano Show. By the way, it appears that the entire inaugural ceremonies are moved indoors now. Even some of the parade they might have indoors at the arena there in Washington. Ronald Reagan was the last one sworn in his second term indoors. It was moved inside due to severe cold. I'm just not on board with that. You know, it's difficult. I can't imagine it's going to be too much colder than the Obama, the one that I was sent down to cover. Wow, what a day. The crowd, it was unbelievable. But look, it might limit the crowd, and I know Trump knows what the media is going to do. We're going to be into counting all that due to the cold. But I don't know how many people they can get inside or what the mechanism. All I know is we'll be at the NAC, and I wanted to ask, what's the deal with champagne? I've never been a fan of champagne.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, there's so many other fine wines. Is it the French thing that gets me? Is it the bubbly? I just don't. I feel myself doing like an involuntary shiver taking a. Now, Dawn might be bringing champagne to this. Feel free, if you want to celebrate at that moment. Dan, are you a fan of champagne? Why does it have that reputation?
I love champagne. I like the bubbles, the little bubbles.
Yeah, I don't like the bubbles.
I'm not going to sit there on a Thursday night drinking champagne with the wife. It's a special occasion thing,
But why?
It's like fruitcake.
Yeah.
Like fruitcake's horrible, but you love it.
But there's so many great wines out there.
Yeah. So what? You want Moscato instead of champagne?
No, not
celebrate?
Moscato.
Pinot Noir.
Remember the one I drank that the young Republicans gave me?
Yeah.
It was that $108 bottle of wine. That was great.
Red wine is a good celebratory drink.
Yeah,
it's better with dinner. Exactly. It's better when you have food with it. Champagne's like
yeah.
Midnight comes, New Year's Eve.
Well, every time people do that,
they
have champagne. They have. All right, here's the second one on my list. This would be a side, I guess. Caviar. I've eaten octopus.
Have you ever had caviar?
I tasted it, then I knew what I was eating. I said,
was it real caviar?
Well, apparently, but I almost spit it out. I almost went to a trash can and spit it out. Just
very strong, fishy flavor?
Yeah, just the idea of it, too. Not appealing.
I'm with you more on caviar than I am champagne. I mean, I'm shocked that you I mean, I guess it is France, but some guy that, imbibes in wines as much as you do is anti-champagne. It's surprising to me.
Yeah, definitely.
But
so
you never had like the beluga caviar or?
No,
okay.
I don't think so. Nothing Russian, certainly. All right, so what's appropriate? What should we be, and if you're not with us there, what are you going to be celebrating with? Yoo-hoo or something, if that's still out there? Mm-hmm. Because remember, Trump, indoors or out, is president by the Constitution at noon. And we'll do the countdown together there at the NAC. It was tremendous the last time around. Dan, you haven't heard from Mike of Ambler, have you?
No.
I'm hoping he comes dressed as the bear again and brings something else with him.
Never heard from Greg about the kangaroo either. I'm kind of disappointed.
Yeah, wait a minute. Is Greg okay to kangaroo?
I don't think so.
Oh, he thought this was just in fun.
Maybe he thought I was not being serious when I asked him, can I have a kangaroo show up at the event?
But, Karis.
Yeah.
I am looking closer to getting that salmon shirt. Hope to have it tomorrow. To be ready.
Did you end up buying that suit I showed you yesterday?
No, it was raspberry, right?
It was salmon. It's the salmon thing.
Look for raspberry. Okay.
So I asked, can I have a kangaroo show up at the NAC?
Right,
okay with Mr. Worthington, that being Jim Worthington. He says, ... for what? Question mark. We're going to respond because we want a kangaroo at the event. What do you mean for what? Come on.
It's a listener. For what? Yeah, the kangaroo can be all happy when Trump is sworn in.
Have a kangaroo court?
Where are you going to be? What are you going to be doing there? That's the place to be with fellow listeners, particularly now. Maybe some people won't go to Washington. We'll have more people there due to the fact it's being moved indoors. I know it's a pain out there, and maybe you could shorten it. I could see that. Rather than an hour, the whole ceremony, I'm not sure. But just to move it indoors. I don't know how many people they're going to get there. I mean, easily at some inaugurals, there are 1 million people there. So this would be potentially that.
I'm going to be really annoyed if what they do is they have all those people out there and they just put up a giant screen.
That's what they're going to do.
You think that's what they're going to do?
Oh, sure.
Oh, my gosh. I'd be...
Well... Oh, you mean not have anybody
as a person going down there, if I booked a hotel, spent all this money getting ready for an in-person inauguration, I show up and I'm watching a screen, I'd be miffed.
Let me look again. Where is the exact location, Dan? Let's see if we can tell people that, where they hold it. I'm not sure now. Is it inside the Capitol? If it is, you're not getting 20,000 people inside there. Be delivered. Yeah, it says, the Capitol Rotunda.
Oh.
Now, I've been there. I bet a few thousand people. These are going to be people this is going to be a hot ticket. These are only going to be people that are really contributors, etc. Are people going to go outside and see it on a Jumbotron and say they were at the inauguration when others are inside where the action actually? There's something wrong with that. Really, it is. I'm opposed to it. I know it can be cold. Let's see how many people say they're not going now that they've gotten this news. You're right. A hotel, it's very difficult walking to it. At least it was the one that I went to. Getting home, getting out. It's arduous to do this. But it's the thrill of actually witnessing it, the majesty of it. I'll never forget it. And I was pretty far away watching Obama be sworn in. All right, 855-839-1210, you get in. If you're going, does that make you change your plans a little bit? Let's go to, let's see. Let's go to Donovan in Ventnor on Talk Radio 1210. Hello, Donovan. Afternoon.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Tom.
You're welcome, Donovan.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about TikTok.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Trump was against TikTok a number of months ago.
Executive order.
Then he got a $45 million donation from a major TikTok investor, Jeff Yass. I'm sure that's purely coincidental. I love Trump's excuse now that
I think the bottom line with this is that it's about the youth vote. Trump is enamored with that, and he's looking towards seeing that as this would be a lot of young people will see him as the savior of that. He probably has that in mind, but it's still, there's no upside here to continue with this.
it follows his policy of Trump first. I mean, we all know it's not America first. It's America alone and Trump first.
Well, Donovan, I don't think America sees it that way.
Well, because so much of MAGA is just too stupid to see it that.
There you go, Donovan. You just revealed yourself there. So there you go. I knew you were going to go there ultimately. I thought you were going to just have a good conversation. No, I think Trump sees this as the way to continue to reach youth, younger voters. And that's fine. We give grace to that to get past the election. But at this point now, is this the way to go? 855-839-1210. You get in. Let's go to the Earl of Tacony. Hey, Earl, welcome in. Who do you have today?
Real quick, Dom. I mentioned this before 3 years ago that I told you that it looked like there were people inside the Capitol prior to them breaking into the windows. Because I told you, I saw someone, there was a banner hanging from the edge of the Capitol that said treason on it. And Park Police were standing right behind the banner. He had his hands on it as he was standing there. And it's like, he had to have known that someone put it there. And, I just always thought that was odd. And it's nice to have some verification that, there were some people there.
Oh, we know that. We know that without a doubt. So, Earl, who do you have today?
My person, I'm going to tell you the story. Tim Colseri was originally cast as Sergeant Hartman in Full Metal Jacket. But Stanley Kubrick was so impressed with the technical advisor that they got rid of Colseri and they gave him a secondary role. He was the door gunner, where he said anyone that runs is VC, anyone that stands still is well-trained, disciplined VC. And the person they replaced Colseri with was R. Lee Ermey. He was just a technical advisor and had no acting experience. And they went and they gave him a screen test to see if he was capable of handling the role of acting. So they had him stand for a half hour screaming commands and all sorts of insults, perfectly still at attention, while the crew threw oranges at him to try and break his attention.
Wow. Unbelievable story. Thank you, Earl. Thank you very much. 855-839-1210. We're looking today in honor of Bob Uecker for a person who was seen as a non-actor, but jumped in and maybe they had a career after that. We've had some
From
great
now
ones.
on, you will speak only when spoken to, and the first and last words out of your filthy sewers will be, sir.
Now, that guy, I don't know if that's the same one he was talking about, but
Army,
he actually became a star. That guy, he was using a lot of roles after that. Yeah.
Yeah, he had that whole History Channel show where he really played it
Oh,
off.
yeah,
And
that's
there was
right.
a Geico
That's
commercial.
right. Yeah.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Does a former drill sergeant make a terrible therapist?
And that's why yellow makes me sad, I think.
That's interesting. You know what makes me sad?
You do! Maybe we should chug on over to Mamby-Pamby land where maybe we can find some self-confidence for you, you jackwagon!
All right, 855-839-1210. Jump on board. By the way, one guy we're looking to get on that President Trump, and we're going to see these pardons, we're going to see a lot of stuff, is Dr. I think it's pronounced Hayem. He's the guy, the whistleblower, who exposed at a prominent hospital, I think this is the Boston guy, what was going on with so-called gender-affirming care, surgeries and the like that were outrageous. Or maybe he's a Texas guy. National Review did a big write-up of him today to try to put it in the forefront that President Trump ought to be looking at some way of commending this guy, helping out in this case as we start to settle all the family business here. Mark Houck is another one, although Mark Houck was found not guilty, innocent, and now has the civil suit. that I think is going to get his day of comeuppance against what happened here in the Biden years. I want those FBI agents, though, at least the leadership in Richmond, and I believe it was more, that had the just unbelievable to surveil people because they went to a Latin mass. All right, 855-839-1210. That's how you get in on Talk Radio 1210.
This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you ready for retirement? Have you prepared everything you need? Well, in Investor Schooling, we will teach you ways to better prepare for your retirement using real estate and the stock market. But you need to learn how to do it right, and that's what we teach. At Investor Schooling, we sell nothing but education. Come to Investor Schooling and learn how to have a better retirement. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now for this Thursday's class at 7 o'clock. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
Hi, I'm Mike Veneria Jr. with Prosperity Private Wealth. Your retirement dreams can become reality if you have a plan. I specialize in retirement and legacy planning. We provide custom solutions to help you navigate through your finances today while helping you build a strong financial portfolio for tomorrow. Take control of your financial future. Call me, Mike Veneria Jr. at 856-252-0107.
Securities through Sanctuary Securities, Inc., member FINRA SIPC, advisory services through Sanctuary Advisors, LLC, and SEC-registered investment advisor.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
It's the grand opening of King Shooter Supply in King of Prussia, Sunday, February 2nd from noon till 6. With deals and specials you won't want to miss. The gun store and shooting range is complete with an additional 7 more indoor lanes, 14 total, a huge parking lot rear entrance, and the same great staff inside. King Shooters welcomes beginners into their family of competitive shooters, recreational shooters, law enforcement professionals, and hunters, helping you find the right firearm, ammunition, and accessories. 346 East Church Road in King of Prussia, on Facebook and at kingshooters.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? So you're not alone. And even better, HIMS can help. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. It all starts with an online intake form. From there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
All right, it is Dom time. So, as best we can figure, it's going to be like 20,000 people inside the Capitol. I don't see anything about jumbotrons outside or not. The swearing in will be at the Capitol Rotunda, a few thousand people in there. I heard from a great source, Mike Opelka, who is broadcasting from there, but I'm not sure if he's going to stay. He's unclear. That security might be a potential concern. My gut instinct says it's the cold rather than security. I hope it's not security. If security, we can't do it outside now, that it's that bad, then things are really out of control. I would assume there were going to be 500,000 people there, plus, potentially. To get into an arena that's, Dan thinks, a 22-minute walk away from the Capitol where the actual swearing in will be, that's 20,000 people maybe. You do the math. So maybe some people, this is the first one if you go to one, anybody I know I was talking to Matt Rooney about this, is going to be on the show on Monday. Anybody that goes to one is going to be thinking, yeah, do I really want to go? I could tell he is to another. It's once. It's one of those things, you do it once, it's great, you check it off. Like I ran the Boston Marathon, 1978. I'm not running Boston Marathon again. I'm not running another marathon again. I don't know how I got through that one. And Dan, don't tell me it's like Wilt Chamberlain. You want to see videotapes.
There's no way you ran the Boston Marathon.
Okay, you know what?
Then you wrote on a paper, I ran the Boston Marathon and held it up for a picture.
How do I have that certificate at home? And how do I,
the internet.
I had it for a few years. This special stew they give you at the end of the run. I had it frozen at home just for guys like you.
Sure.
I did.
Yeah.
Like gave you like a cup of stew? It wasn't
yes,
like in a can?
You were supposed to eat it. No, it was
Spoiler alert, Henry. He went to Captain Chucky's and bought a stew and just froze it.
Yeah, and how was I walking like a cowboy for a week after it? Why was that? I have the doctor's pictures of the bruising
Dom,
inside.
is the true question.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you don't know. I didn't wear any of the chapping stuff. I didn't believe in that. I should have. Vaseline and all that. No.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
You're going to use that guy forever. That's a good drop. All right, so are you still going? Come on now. Come on over to the NAC. We got everything you need right there. The people I know going, Jim Worthington, he'll probably be in the rotunda. But this is not a good idea to do this. And if it's security, then who is it that came up with this, that we can't secure this? The mobs are going to be that. If it's cold, security shouldn't be as much of a problem. All right, 855-839-1210. You can get in, but it will be held inside the Rotunda and at Capital One, which I guess seats approximately 20,000. Are you still going? Is that still the game plan, or does this, we'll have to look at what the game time temperature would be if it's out there. It's windy there. It's frigid. I'll look up during the break. What was the temperature? Maybe you can, Dan. Obama, the first Obama swearing in, what was the real temperature outside? All I know is when I walked back, because I was doing 2 broadcasts that day, I don't know how I made it back the 12 to 15 blocks. First of all, the crowds, but second of all, it was, wow. It was difficult.
From Florida Times Union, January 20th, 2009. From Washington. The Obama administration got off to a cold start Tuesday, but the overcast skies cleared and the sun shone down on the inaugural ceremony. Morning temperatures were in the low 20s with a light wind and overcast skies, but readings climbed to 28 by the time of the noon ceremony. The cold didn't challenge the record of -2 degrees at Ronald Reagan's second inauguration in 1985.
Okay, so what's it supposed to be this time? Do we know what they predicted? Now, -2, even... And it was his second inaugural. But I still think, make it shorter, do something. It still should be outside.
It's currently showing a high of 23, low of 9 degrees on Monday.
So around noon, though? It's got to be closer to 20,
noon,
23.
It's looking like around 22, 23 degrees.
That's not too cold to do this. I don't think it is. Do you?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No.
I just think, is it security?
Like my thing is, Buffalo Bills, they play in conditions far worse than this on a regular basis, and they don't send their fans home.
I want to take William, and I get this concern. And then Linda Kearns is coming up here. William's got a point. I get this. All right, William, go ahead with your point, but I think I have an answer to it.
Two quick points. First of all, the inauguration, they're trying to put it indoors so that the Dems can run around and say it's the smallest inauguration attendance ever in history. So that's the real.
Well, wait. Okay, all right. I hear you. So should you give into that and do that, taking away the grandeur And the people that are going there, I get your real world point. You think it's worth it to move it indoors so they can't say, see, he didn't have a crowd.
Yes, that's what they're doing.
I don't. Yeah, but do you support that?
Oh, moving it indoors?
Yes.
I support the gentleman who just said Buffalo Bills crowd, fans sit out there in negative 12 degrees.
Okay, right.
I'm telling you, the people that would attend this, they would sit out there in negative 20 degrees.
Wait a minute, William, just let's go with that.
Sure.
I'm in agreement with that, but I'm a realist. Some people, wouldn't be what you can get ordinarily if it weren't as frigid. But you're right. The Trump people, you might make it, hey, we're going to show them, we're going to stay. And shorten the ceremony a little bit. Make it not as long of a ceremony. I could be on board with that.
Yeah. A much more important point, if you don't mind,
Sure.
I said I have two, and this one's incredible. No one is addressing how to prevent the failing mental acuity of a president again. My idea, 6 doctors, 3 Dems, 3 Republicans, and every 6 months, not only just a physical check, a mental acuity check. And when you have that many doctors, they're not going to put up losing their license so that they're going to put somebody through that's failing.
Yeah, but who? What's the with the mental thing? I'm on the side. Look, I'm on the side of what you said, and then they give their findings. Let's compromise. They give their findings. But they don't say, no, he's out or in, or she's out or in. The American people get the findings. That's what you're saying. Yeah,
Bingo.
I agree.
Bingo. Yep. The American people, transparency, get the findings. And if you have 3 doctors and 3 doctors, and they're both, one says he's great, one says he has problems, then you've got issues with their licenses. You see what I'm saying? But the point being is, this can never happen again, Dom. Put a puppet in there with strings being pulled by somebody else, and they're not responsible. It just can't happen ever again. And I haven't heard one conversation.
No, I love
that.
I love
in
what
the media.
I
about
love what
that.
you said, and that's the legacy of Biden, that we don't let this happen again. You're right.
Yes,
You're
sir.
on it. Thank
and
you, William.
I don't care Republican or Democrat.
Right. No, that is a great point. They're not determinative, but the American people know. You can say, well, we all knew. A lot of people kidded themselves about Biden and says it was not that bad. Peter Ducey today saying they blared music when they wanted to get you out of there so you couldn't even hear anything. Yeah, they did it all. We saw it. Media didn't want to see it, but there are other people that are not paying attention. I like his idea. All right, Linda Kearns is next. She's going to be one of our featured guests on Monday. Maybe she and I will argue a legal case finally, Dan. I'll take whatever side we want. I'm not afraid of this. I'm not afraid of Linda Kearns, who's won all these matches. Bring her into the ring. Come on now.
That's the spirit.
Oh, you're starting this again?
Yeah, I'm starting this again. Come up with an ipso facto out there.
You should do like the Dom Show Olympics and have a moot court debate, then a 40-yard throw, and see who ends up coming out the win. Because I think she's got you on the moot court, I got to say. But I don't know about the 40-yard throw. I think you might got it.
Yeah, there you go. Yes.
Well, it all together.
I'm not wearing a skirt. She wins that contest. There you go. All right, Linda Kearns with an update. They're going back again to court. They never stop, right? How do we beat them? She is beating them on the mail-in ballot, and Dom's Money Melody all straight ahead.
Well, they said you was high. If the cold weather has you thinking it's finally time to replace those old drafty windows and doors, then there's no better time than now to make your home more energy efficient while taking advantage of Guida's big winter sales event. My good friends at Guida Door and Window are extending their big winter sale through the month of January by offering 40% off every window and door you buy. That's right, 40% off every expertly installed energy-efficient replacement window, which also includes free high-performance low-E glass. And if you're in need of a new door, you'll get 40% off any door, including insulated entry doors, sliding patio doors, garage doors, and storm doors. Plus, you can start your project with no money down and pay it off interest-free for up to 12 months. The offer is for a limited time only, so act quickly. If your home needs new windows and doors, call the experts at Guida today to schedule a free in-home estimate at 877-GO-GUIDA or visit them at GoGuida.com. That's GoGuida.com.
There's a reason that potato chips don't come in a clear bag.
There's only 8 chips in this bag.
That's why. It's only about 2/3 full. The rest is air. It's a lot like opening up your 401k at retirement. You get about 2/3 of it, and the rest goes to Uncle Sam. Jim Cipriotti at the Retire Ready Financial Group can help. His tax mapping process can help forecast what your tax bill will be in the future, and that way you can build a strategy now to potentially decrease your tax bill in retirement. In other words, more for you and less for Uncle Sam. Call today for your complimentary retirement tax mapping report, 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415. Or find them online at retirereadyfg.com. And get Uncle Sam's greedy hands out of your retirement.
Hey, you've had enough.
With a complimentary tax mapping report from Jim Cipriotti. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC. NPN number 2083768.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Think about it with the Eagles. Every week, all right, we're going to show Pats. We're going to show the steps. And when an Eagle fan does something stupid, bozo in the 700 level, that doesn't speak volumes to all of us. There's always a few bad actors.
I'm just surprised that it did not end up in a fist fight. You know what I mean?
If you're leaving the stadium and there's a bunch of drunk idiot fans yelling at your wife, do you immediately take out your phone and start filming, or do you do something about it? You do something about it.
Get in their face.
My crowbar.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app. On Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, Dom Giordano show. She'll be back with us again. Part of Mount Rushmore, Linda Kearns, who really engineered one of the reasons why people had faith in the system, turned out a lot, to vote by mail, which really, really helped. But they're back. The other side doesn't give up. That's fine. Neither does our side to squash this stuff. Linda Kearns will be with us, our featured guest, on the 1 o'clock hour on Monday at the NAC, along with an assortment of others. We may get more given the weather situation. But that moment at noon, high noon, is going to be great because at that moment, Trump, whatever else is going on constitutionally, he is the president at that point. There you go. Let's go to Linda Kearns. Hey, Linda, welcome in. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, good afternoon, Dom. Thanks for having me. And yes, I can't believe, after quite the year that I had as the election law lawyer, that finally all my hard work, I'll see it on Monday when Trump is sworn in.
Boy, I got to see the legal bills that were sent out there because you guys were in court, it seems like 20 hours a day. And here we go again. Look, I don't know about you. You seem to have the same attitude I have. I don't care how many times they try to do this. The law is on our side. The people are on our side. And it's maddening, but we're going to beat them. So Baxter versus Philadelphia, what's that case about and what's happening?
Well, that was the case, if you remember, there was a special election here in Philadelphia, and a couple of voters sued and said that their ballots should be counted even though they weren't dated. And they brought it up to the Commonwealth Court, and the Commonwealth Court said, yes, absolutely count them even though they're not dated, basically upending all of the precedent we already had in place. And the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, to its credit, stayed that decision for the election in November. The Supreme Court said, look, with an election this close, we can't have chaos and uncertainty, so we're going to stay this decision and all the current rules stay in place. That was a huge win for the RNC, so that we knew what the rules were going to be for that election, and we made sure that you had to date ballots. But that didn't mean the case went away. So now the Supreme Court is going to address it basically on the merits. And the question it's going to decide is, do these ballots have to be dated, or does it violate the free and fair election clause of the Pennsylvania Constitution? So the case on the merits is still proceeding.
And Linda, as the way that I see this whole thing, and the actual law, I only pretend to be a lawyer and get away with it successfully. Kidding. That the legislature is the one that decides these things. And unless there's something, and I think various courts have said this in so many words, unless there's something that rises to a level of discrimination of some sort, the legislature decides the mechanism. We don't have to go back through the minutia of their reasonings. This is not an unfair burden. You and I have talked. You have a burden if you want to show up and vote on Election Day. You physically have to get there. If you want to do it by mail-in ballot, then you have to be careful and do it correctly. That's kind of your burden.
Right, Tom. And by the way, I heard you talking about your one-hit wonder moot court thing you did in law school, and I'm still wondering when you and I are gonna debate.
All right,
so
Monday, Dan is going to come up with something here. Ipso facto, Dan.
Well, debate the best wine, maybe.
Okay.
Isn't Linda? Aren't you a white wine person, or are you a red wine?
No, I'm a red wine person.
Oh, Dan. She avoided that, Dan. It would have been can you imagine? You can't defeat. I couldn't do that. A rising national legal talent, really. Linda Kearns is.
Under or over for toilet paper?
And
if I defeated her, can you imagine? Oh my God!
Tom, please, you're fooling yourself. That would never happen. Let's take you down a couple notches here. Let's get back to reality. And I know we're all excited about the inauguration, and I know, everyone's talking about TikTok and everything, but I'm still concerned about elections because I'm looking forward to the next election. I'm looking forward to 2026 and 2028. And I have said for years and years and years that the RNC has to be forward looking, and now we are. And this case is an example. You're asking me, well, why are we still attacking the dating? And the reason is they're trying to say that it violates the free and fair election clause. But like you started to say, they're misapplying the free and fair election clause when they say this. The free and fair election clause of our Constitution prohibits arbitrary rules that would disqualify a whole class of citizens,
right?
Or a rule that would prohibit a rule that basically discriminates against a whole group of people based on, say, geography or socioeconomic status, or it could prohibit a regulation that would make it so difficult to vote as to be a denial of the franchise. And the court has ruled again and again that just asking someone to date a ballot doesn't meet that very high burden. So this is yet another bite at the apple that the left is working on. And I think we as voters, we as Pennsylvanians need to realize that this is still going on. And if you remember, there's another case that was in the Third Circuit in the western side of the state that's being considered up in the Supreme Court now on the materiality provision. So this dating requirement is still getting attacked, and we need to realize this. We need to think about it. And I know we're excited about this inauguration, but we need to think about the election in 2025 that we have, and we're going to be electing municipal officials, state judges, and these are things that we have to remember because we have to get conservatives in all these positions.
And you're right. That's going to be the tell, because I can't tell, is this the moment, the inflection point where people have turned in this last election? Some evidence of that. Or is it you have something unique with Trump, the secret sauce? The tell will be in 2025, 2026. What people do. Do they turn out and still vote? Are they in this habit? Do they get it? This is the only way to continue this or not. You're exactly right. I know that Whatley's dedicated to this, and you are the point person on this. And, Linda, too, I wonder if the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, if some of these people, I know one, I believe, that's up for retention, Johnny Dock's brother, who has shown some pretty good signs to me on Krasner and other things, are they going to look at this through the context? They don't want their name out there on something radical, like saying you don't have to date this.
Right. And there's actually two issues that they agreed to decide. One is, does the free and fair election clause basically say that you don't have to date? But also, if for some reason it does, what about the non-severability clause in the act? If you remember, when this act was passed, there was a lot of debate over it, and the only thing that got the Republicans and the Democrats to agree on it was to say, well, if any part of the act is found unconstitutional or invalid, that means the entire act is invalid. So that's a whole other thing that we're dealing with. That let's just say they do say that the date requirement is invalid. Well, then does that invalidate the entire act? And then we go back to the drawing board. So there's a lot. There's a lot of issues here with these court cases.
We buried the lead there. That would be huge. I think I'd almost like to see it go back to the drawing board. How about you, as a legal scholar? What do you think?
So that non-severability clause that has been, has been talked about. There have been cases on it, and so far it hasn't happened yet. We'll see. Now, the Supreme Court might not get to it, though, if they find that the free and fair elections clause does not, require that we do it. So we might not even get there. As an election law person, I think that we need a brand new election code. It is a very poorly drafted law, and even some of the amendments I see that our legislators propose, and I know that they mean well, but they're not even addressing all of the issues. There's just so many things that went wrong, and I think the evidence of that was all of the court cases. Like, a law should not have all of these court cases. It shouldn't mean there shouldn't be enough openings that people are running to court.
Let me challenge you on that. I would say no matter what we do, no matter how tight, the other side is wedded to this. Elias and these others, Linda, it doesn't matter. They're going to do this. It's the other side of lawfare. And thank God we have finally stepped up to have people that are equal to push back on this.
Oh, Dom, you're absolutely right. No matter what law is in place, if the left doesn't like it, they're going to challenge it in court. But if the law is drafted appropriately, it will withstand court challenges. As an example, way back, I think it was in 2011, we did pass a voter ID law in Pennsylvania. It's still on the books, but it was invalidated by a lawsuit. So even though it's still in the books, it was found unconstitutional. So if we pass laws that are tight enough, that are well drafted enough to withstand those challenges, we'll be in a much better position. And that's what our legislature is going to have to do if they do get to change our election law, which it's a heavy lift considering the divided legislature we have here in Pennsylvania, and we do not have a Republican governor. And that makes 2026 an even more important election.
Know that you're on it. Come prepared, though. We got to come up with something fun to be debating. Dan's working in the workshop back there. A little bit of that on Monday would go a long way. But thanks for coming back to the NAC. People love what you've done. And you, Linda, were really the Secretary of Defense here that drove this whole thing. You made them believe they could actually vote. And I think you've solidified it each time you're on, that people the next time are going to vote by mail, even if they go in person and do it. Maybe they finally have gotten the code. That's the only way to win.
Well, we're working on a project at the RNC with regard to voting, and I'll be on your show after Monday. I want to get through the inauguration to talk about it and recruit more people, because we are not going away. We really are absolutely committed to election integrity under Chairman Whatley.
Thank you, Linda. See you on Monday.
Bye-bye.
All right, Linda Kearns, Dan, I'm sure you'll come up with something here that would be, or you can hit me on Twitter. What would be good? A little spirited debate there. Dan comes in a referee's moment there. All right. I hope that you'll show up. You'll meet people like Linda and a bunch of other people we have stopping by. And we'll have some people on the scene from Washington. But we all share that moment together. That's what it's about at high noon. And the friends that you make, the connection that you make, it is a celebration, I think, much better than 2016. I'm in the business of comparison. That was shocking. This is the popular vote win. Is the thing. Look, I know people say, oh, I saw it all along. Oh, come on now. I didn't even think Trump would win all 7 swing states. That's shocking. Yeah, some of them were relatively close. Michigan, it's clear the Israel stuff and all played a role there, but I didn't think he'd win Wisconsin. Pennsylvania, toward the end, I thought slightly he'd win. He won by more than slightly. North Carolina, I always thought he would win. Georgia, I pretty much always thought he would win. Nevada is a really tough state to win. It is amazing. We'll recount some of that and look forward. But I'm not on board with holding it inside. 855-839-1210, AT&T and Verizon Wireless. You just push pound 1210. Keith, stay right there. Keith's somebody who's planning on going to the inauguration but may cancel because of this indoor thing. I just think you got to give the people the outdoor thing. I heard that Williams call. Democrats will be using this. They don't care if it's cold and stop some people from going. They just want to say, see. And we're going to go through the numbers battle again. Who determines the numbers? The National Park Service. Yeah, I want those guys counting. Couldn't even protect Independence Hall. 855-839-1210. You get on board. All right, right now, though, it is time first for...
It's Dom's Money Melody.
Money gone.
Well, we have another $50 gift card to Ace Hardware. Did you receive an Ace Hardware gift card over the holidays? In celebration of National Use Your Gift Card Day on Saturday, January 18th, treat yourself to a wide selection of high-quality products at your local Ace Hardware. For more information, visit acehardware.com.
Yeah, it's all Henry today.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
Henry.
I was going to say. Anyway, so, Dom, today's side question, we're talking about those non-actors that come across on the silver screen and do a really good job. Today, we're going to do something similar to that. We're going to do these silver screen actors that made their way into singing. So I'm going to play an original song by a famous actor. I want to know the actor singing this song.
Gotcha.
You have body, you give so warm, you're so survivor.
It's like Kmart Dave Matthews.
It's so clear, a lot long gone, songs of old, you sing.
So, Henry, I think one clue that we could put out there.
Mm-hmm. I'm listening.
Genre of film that this guy's very well known for?
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, depends on how specific you want to go with the genre here. I mean, it's
action.
Action. We'll say action. Yeah, maybe a little fiction worked in there as well.
Yeah.
All right, hit us with that. Fire away. Ace Hardware, $50 gift card ready to give to you. And it's not in Finnish. You don't have to know Finn today. 855-839-1210. Jump on board. Coming to your calls next on Talk Radio 1210.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-214-3777. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Help USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-214-3777. 800-214-3777. 800-214-3777.
Dawn Stensland here. My friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles feature the latest luxury vehicles from today's top brands. Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, Land Rover, BMW, Porsche, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, and more. Sleek new designs and innovative features with thousands of new and certified pre-owned vehicles available across Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey. Piazza Premium Automobiles stands out. Visit PiazzaPremiumAutos.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
You know you've been testing fade, ignoring those home repairs. Start 2025 off right and call PJ Fitzpatrick to the rescue. If it's drafty windows, overflowing gutters, rotted trim, or that dreaded leaking roof, PJ Fitzpatrick can take care of your home repair project right now and save you thousands of dollars on costly structural damage. This is the time to call the home repair experts at PJ Fitzpatrick. No job too big or too small. Visit them on the web at trustpj.com. They'll save you some cash and they'll fix it right the first time. Visit trustpj.com.
PNC Private Bank knows that anything can happen on the gridiron, and being prepared goes a long way. It's not so different with your wealth. Whether you are looking to grow it over time, planning business succession, or integrate charitable giving, having a dedicated local team of specialized advisors who take a calculated, disciplined approach to managing your wealth leads to a lot of wins. The PNC Private Bank team knows that just like in football, that kind of preparation is good for your financial game. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank National Association, member FDIC.
Local news can come at you fast. Want the latest on what's happening in your backyard? Download the free Odyssey app. Follow your local news station, and you'll get alerts on the top stories making headlines in your city. You can stay in the know, no matter what you're up to, and be among the first to find out when news breaks. Plus, keep tabs on weather and traffic, so you're never caught off guard. To get started, download the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY, and follow your local news station.
Never miss a moment from the Dom Giordano program again. Download the free Odyssey app and follow 1210 WPHT. And listen whenever and whatever works best for you.
All right, let's hear a little bit of the cover and tell me who is singing this song.
They'll take the walk, we'll sage the world. Sounds like October, a futurist knows.
Let's go to Julia in Telford. Julia, who's singing the song?
Well, I have a couple people in mind, but I think it sounds most like Robert Downey Jr.
Wow, that is incredible. Who was the other person you had in mind?
I was thinking Keanu Reeves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, Julia. Enjoy Ace Hardware. $50 gift card. Great week with that. That goes a long way. 855-839-1210. You get on board. By the way, Dan, from our buddy Joan Cullen, by the way, we have a story developing. We didn't go with it yet because I'm not even sure I have the right detail on this behind the scene. But I'll say this, Central Bucks School District, there's another story out there that we're aware of and trying to ascertain exactly all the nuts and bolts of it before we go forward with it. Thanks to the people that have been in touch with us. It's
very serious allegations.
Yeah, very serious allegations. We want to be clear on this, but why in the world all this in Central Bucks? But Joan tweets out, Dom, a little warning time next time, please. I had just taken a sip of my afternoon coffee when you said maybe some chest hair will make an appearance on Monday. Ooh. Thankfully, I stopped myself from dousing my computer with a spit take deluge. Sounds like the knack will be wild on Monday. All right. Well, I'm working on that salmon shirt.
Thanks. So is it you that's going to show the chest hair?
Well, yeah, it might be a little bit. Yeah, that's always a good thing on a cold day.
Yeah?
Yeah. But I'm working more on the salmon shirt for the ladies that are on the ranch in Oregon. And I have to just get to the right store to get it.
So are you going to wear the gray suit with it?
No. Ro bought me this beautiful new Joseph A. Bank sport coat that is very contemporary.
Blue, like a navy?
Yeah,
nice.
But it's just the threading alone in it. This is a showpiece. So I'll be ready. Are you wearing the green suit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know yet. I got to go make sure it's laundered. Last time I wore it was in an outdoor wedding in South Carolina.
Okay. Might be a problem. Yeah. But I need people to hit me on Twitter or tell us somehow, where can I easily go and get a great salmon shirt?
Men's Warehouse.
Men's Warehouse?
K&G.
I think anywhere.
Boscov's. Macy's.
I mean, it'd probably be easier in the summertime, I'm sure, when they're trying to...
I don't see those places having them
I guarantee you can get one at JCPenney right now.
JCPenney. Well, okay, JCPenney's always a good spot for me. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Tall clothes at JCPenney.
Yeah.
Out there.
Joseph A. Banks, really my favorite. the haggling negotiator. I'll give you 3 suits for a price of 4, and 855.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
God.
That's not
Man, it's going to be a big show. And I'm doing 2 shows on Monday, a national show too, after Trump signs all those executive orders. But we have people not going. Let's go to Keith in Ridley Park, get his story. He was going to go to the inaugural. All right, Keith, so you decided not worthy to go all the way there, huh?
Yeah, it's a lot of money. It's like $500 for a hotel, and you rent a car, and what are you going to do? Stand outside and look at the TV? I mean, it's crazy. So
I agree.
Yeah,
I think it's a bad
cancel.
move. Now, people are telling me, some sources, security. But, my God, how many inaugurals have we done? We can't provide security for this?
I was at 8 years ago. I was there. I called Rich Zioli from the restaurant when I was down there. And, everybody was complaining, it's bad. But they had the National Guard everywhere, black cars everywhere, black Suburbans everywhere. And they had, a bunch of thugs running around. But it wasn't that bad. And there were a lot of women, children, people. And people didn't even get inside. They were on the outside. I was on the outside because I had too many pepper sprays and everything else because I was worried about the security then. But, I think with the cold, I think it'll eliminate the security problem because the people that, the day-to-day people, the terrorists, Black Lives Matter, whatever, they won't show up when it's cold. They just like it when it's nice and warm out. So
look, I would
crazy.
agree. Maybe it's going to look better on TV. But to me, seeing that with Obama, the grandeur of that there, looking up at it, that's America. That's it. And again, if you want to make it shorter because of the cold or whatever the thing is, I'd be all on board with that. It's a moment. And you're right, Keith.
Event.
It is.
It's an event. It's great. It's a great event. All the people around you are all MAGA people. They got MAGA hats. We took over the town. It was great. People in the hotel, we're like-minded. And you had to make sure you communicated with the right people, so you didn't get your head beat in. But other than that, it was a great event, and I wasn't even on the inside. I walked around the outside and did the parade and stuff. And
even the parade, they're going to move into part of it or most of it into the Capitol Arena. I think the people in the parade want to be in the parade, and then he would be at the viewing stand.
Yeah, that's crazy too. But they have to stage them all. See outside. They sit there outside on the south side of the mall, and wait for the parade to start. So for them it'd be a lot worse. But it's an event. They're going to use it as a ploy to say there's nobody there. Blah blah blah. Look at the mall's empty. Blah blah blah. And that'll be the storyline for the next.
Well,
4
wait
years,
a minute, Keith. You're on to something here. So the media, if they think they're one-upping the media, because the media will say, because of the cold, fewer people would go. By doing this, they're still going to report on that, and they're not going to say due to the cold. They're still going to go with, nobody was there. They couldn't brave the cold. They didn't go there. That's exactly what they'll do.
They're saying it's 35 degrees, and they'll lie about that too.
Exactly. Yeah, Caitlin Collins will be out there like a football player, Dan. I'm sleeveless out here. Why are these people not here? Maybe these MAGA people are not as tough as they think they are. Maybe they're not involved enough. Jim Acosta, it's not that cold here, I think. I don't think you get away from the media by staying indoors and thinking, we were going to be shorter people. Look, when it's going to be pretty cold, you would probably get a few fewer people. But MAGA people, to his point, this time around, people were going. I think it would have been massive. Maybe not the biggest. These crowd sizes, all I can tell you, the only firsthand experience, the Obama crowd, it was history. You know why. Those things evolved. It was enormous. I wasn't there in 2016. I think it was sizable, though. 855-839-1210. I'd have to say, I would bet for a second inauguration, because the second is usually kind of dull, this would have been bigger than almost every other second inauguration, for the obvious reason of the history that's involved here. So doing this, I think, is a mistake. Shouldn't be done this way. Is it security, though? How do we know that? And we can't secure this? We had on Azra Nomani, who wrote a big piece at Fox of the socialist Islamists coming there. well, it's a good chance to take care of them. 855-839-1210. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, all we need you to do is just push pound 1210.
We have a pleasant finish to the work week with plenty of sunshine today. High temperature back near average of 42. For tonight, not as cold, partly cloudy, low 32 for the city, cold around the suburbs. And Saturday, mostly cloudy with a chance for some afternoon showers with a high 44.
Hi, Dawn Stensland here. You've heard me talk for years about Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding. I love the work the Chapman family team has done in my home, especially that glass wall of patio doors in my foyer. You know by now, if I needed new windows, doors, siding, stucco remediation, I would only trust the Chapman family team. Until the end of January, get 50% off any standard door installation when you buy a new door. A new front entry door can really change the look of your home. If you have an upcoming wedding or maybe a graduation taking place this year, I'd take advantage of this fantastic promotion before it's too late. And yes, you have so many choices with the Chapman family team, including Provia. They're going to work with you to pick the perfect door for you. Either visit their showroom in Westchester or they'll come to your home. Call or text 610-431-8898, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Chapman, tell Dawn sent you.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
First time seeing my son, I feel like my life did a 180. He really a definition of like why he loves somebody.
Through all of fatherhood's first, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Attention small business owners needing financing. Swish Funding is providing funds for expansion, inventory, increased overhead, even slow cash flow to small businesses all over America with affordable funding as soon as one business day. And we're ready to help with funding from $10,000 to $2 million. If you've been in business for 1 year or more with a monthly income of at least $25,000, you can get the affordable funding you need with no collateral. Go to swishfunding.com today. That's swishfunding.com.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
I received a call one time, and the man said, "You probably won't call me back because I'm just a nobody." I immediately called him back. Nobody's a nobody.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. I always wanted to be the lawyer who represented the little guy, the voiceless, the powerless.
I was rear-ended by a car probably doing about 50 or 55 miles an hour. My car caught on fire. I'm a paraplegic, so I couldn't get out of the car. They were struggling to get me out of the vehicle. After the accident, I gave Morgan & Morgan a call, and they understood what I was going through, and they were there to help me each step of the way. It made me feel that I had people behind my back to help me and resolve the case.
I represented him, and we did well because we get the chance to help people put their lives back together and to go on as best they can after a life-altering day. There's only one you, there's only one Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Maria here to tell you about the exciting things going on at Lexus of Cherry Hill. The L-certified winter collection sales event is going on now. New year, new ride. Receive special finance rates on L-certified Lexus models now through March 3rd. Over 300 new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Lexus of Cherry Hill is family and veteran owned and operated, and a 7-time J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence recipient for the customer sales experience. Visit LexusofCherryHill.com.
For J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence information, visit jdpower.com/US-DOE.
Looking for the confidence to walk away from the 9 to 5? Find out how with Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sundays at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT from the Piazza Auto Group Studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations.
All right, it is Dom time, 855-839-1210. Really damper news here to Capitol Rotunda. and then to have Capital One be where people are going to mass for the swearing in, the ceremonies, and then the parade apparently is going to go through there too. If it is security, no shame in saying that. I just can't believe we can't do an inauguration. I can't buy into the security thing. I'm really not buying into that.
I can see there being some shame in saying it's security.
Well, yeah, I misspoke. There is. But, I can't buy into that we shouldn't do whatever we have to do it, though. I mean, we have the National Guard there. We have everything there. Who's telling Trump we can't do it? I don't buy it, is what I'm saying. I think it's a cult.
Get that. Yeah. Yeah, because it does make sense. Like, we should have every resource at our disposal here. But
right. And here's a guy that was shot once and almost shot a second time. He's going to now blanch and say we can't do it. I mean, they have the plexiglass around him, et cetera. All right, let's go to Robert in Ben Salem. Robert, afternoon. Hey, Robert, are you buying it security or cold?
I'm not buying anything right now. And frankly, as long as it comes off the way we want it to come off, I really don't care what the naysayers are saying. They're going to keep doing what they're doing. But we have survived probably the weakest, most divisive, corrupt disaster of a president in our lifetime. We've kept our powder dry. We didn't get crazy. We waited until election to do it the right way. And we paid a lot for that as consumers and taxpayers. And we've had our rights abused by an authoritarian wannabe. And I can't see any reason why somebody who is able to would not want to come out to the NAC and celebrate this victory that we share, especially in Pennsylvania. And not for nothing, Don, but I did call the day before the election and predict a 50.2% popular vote for Trump. It was 50.13%, so I was close enough. But you're right. Very few people saw this coming, and I see it getting bigger if he does a good job. But I don't want to spend a lot of time.
Well, wait a minute, though. But you're buried. I want to take you back to what you said, too. It's not only celebrating the Trump win, yada, 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 but that we forge forward, and we're the ones where our rights were taken away here and almost, if they had one again, God knows what it'd be like. When they always say that about Trump, we survived a guy who's always been mentally challenged in the sense he's not that smart. That's why maybe it was hard to tell with Biden. We survived this. And there's got to be a way that it doesn't happen again.
I would agree with that. And I think that without thinking about whether you're going to press charges or not, bringing to light that laptop has got to see the light of day, Dom.
Absolutely.
And I think that when people see it, it'll add more votes to the Republicans next time. But there's a lot before that. But I just want to say I can't wait to see you guys there. My answer to the side question, I'm hearing a lot of people from one field into the movie and basically played themselves or played somebody who does what they do. And it didn't seem like much of a stretch. So I'm going to go with Olivia Newton-John, who played an Australian exchange high school student and went on to get a lot of accolades for her role in Grease.
Yeah, that's a very good one. Absolutely.
You guys have a great weekend, all right? See you Monday.
She pulled that off beautifully. I was all set to do and I would have, Dan, the sports films. This is a new wrinkle, though. I always like the sports films when people do a line from Henry, we would have to put his seatbelt on. I'm sure there's 4 or 5 magical lines. I'm trying to think all-time sports. Well, I'll tell you who I don't like, Rudy. For some reason, Glenn Mack now used to talk about that on WIP, and he and Ray, the great sports films, the top 100. Mm-hmm. I forget what they said was one, but they both went, can't stand Rudy, and I can't.
Really?
I know it's based on a true story.
That's not even true.
Yeah, probably. Sort of based on it. Yeah, I just see it as fraudulent. I hate Notre Dame, too. I'll admit to that.
I despise Notre Dame, but I think it's a great movie.
Rudy, yeah?
Yeah, oh, totally.
I'll reconsider, but...
it's a little far-fetched, for sure.
All right. Charlie and Orland, though, I won't be biased on this one. The great Wilt Chamberlain, I think, is what he wants to tell us about. All right, Charlie, what film would Wilt?
Great. Wilt Chamberlain played in Conan the Destroyer.
Ah, that's right. He had Conan. He was in Conan what's the name in there?
Arnold, right?
Arnold, yeah. And I remember He had the wig on and the whole thing. Will, how was he in that? I didn't see that role.
Oh, he was very good. Oh, he was terrific in that.
All right. Well, thank you, Charlie. I got to say,
What happened?
Dan, are you starstruck? Did anybody ever starstruck you that you just the person you weren't expecting it to happen to be there? I'm telling you, when I'm sitting in the bullpen because the host was maybe sick, and Wilt walks out down the hallway, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stern, there's a ton of times that I came across people that gave me
Yeah.
that feeling. Well, one being Howard Stern himself, but when I saw Betty White in person,
You've talked about that all the time.
I kind of.
I know we all
that
say
creeped up a little
it's
bit.
not going to do that, but then when you're right there in the moment, it's like I wasn't with Trump because I've seen him so much in the Oval Office and all. There were a lot of people around, and he's so entertaining. It wasn't like I'm with Donald Trump. Oh my God, it wasn't that. He's down to earth. He very much. That way.
It kind of wears off after a while, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
There's still some people that like
Yeah.
Ray Didinger triggers it in me.
Okay.
It's because I grew up watching and listening to Ray that, weirdly, Tony Bruno too for a little while did it for me. Yeah.
Very good. How about you, Henry? Anybody?
Well, yeah.
Dom Giordano, the first time you worked with Rich
That too,
Jolie, the first time you worked
all
with us.
the
we
lovely
get,
hosts
we
here,
get
yeah.
that all. Females all the time, you know.
Well, I think about Pete because I guess I haven't
Right.
met as many famous people as you
Right.
guys have, but getting off the elevator here one day and Jordan Mailata's right there. I'm like, oh, I gotta talk to Jordan Mailata for a second. Or like waiting for the elevator, I'm about to walk out there. Who's there? First time I ever met Ray Didinger.
Okay.
And we talked about the Sixers Raptors series that happened like 3 years ago.
Amazingly nice guy.
And we both agreed the
Oh,
Sixers
yeah,
would
he
lose,
is.
and
Yeah.
we were wrong. And it was something like
Ray
that.
just has like a luster of respect that just follows him around.
I would
It's-
agree.
Yeah.
There's nobody like him. Yeah, absolutely.
Who did I
But
meet
he was wrong with Saquon Barkley. And I still hold that against him, and I will. It chipped away at his image with me. He convinced Henry, though. Henry diehard. Saquon ought to play. Ray comes up with some flawed thinking.
I still think he should.
And Henry turns. I hate Dan. Watch this guy. If the FBI's ever after us, he's going to turn. But Ray Didinger said, they're going down.
If Ray Didinger's on the FBI side, just maybe.
It was an amazing turn.
He
I thought you were going to jump in and kill him with me.
No, he completely soiled Eric Dickerson's reputation.
God.
So I was like, all right, well, he's
Yeah.
got me now.
All right,
Can't argue with that guy.
855-839-1210. It is the lightning round, and then we'll determine for the week the winner. Is it safety? And I'm not buying that. And again, it should not be put off for that. We ought to go to DEPCON 1, whatever it is. If we can't have an inaugural because of safety, that's a problem. 855-839-1210.
Do you have a property that you no longer want? Maybe you inherited the property. Maybe you're underwater in the property. Or maybe you're just a tired landlord, tired of dealing with tenants. Listen, I can buy those properties, and I'll buy those properties fast. I can close in 2 weeks. I buy properties cash. My name is Larry Steinhaus. Give me a call at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and I will personally answer the call. You can also visit easyOutRealEstate.com. Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus from Investor Schooling. Did you know I have a radio show every Saturday from 1 to 3? It's called The Larry Steinhaus Show, and it's sponsored by Investor Schooling. On this show, you will learn things about finances and things about money that you never knew before. But even more of a reason to listen to this show is how much fun we have. If you haven't heard the banter between me, Omri, and Dr. Deb, you haven't heard the greatest show on earth. Listen to this show this Saturday at 1 o'clock right here on WPHT, and I promise you will learn something.
The working families of La Una Labor's District Council of Pennsylvania, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia are proud contributors to all aspects of growth in this great city. The Labor's District Council provides safe, well-trained, productive workers who enable projects to be done on time and under budget. We appreciate our signatory contractors and their commitment to fairness and equality. Laborers, we're building a better future today.
Brought to you by the Laborers District Council Licit Fund.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, police officers, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Hey, Riverton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
All right, so hit us with that all-time, good or bad, non-actor who was notable in a role. Bob Uecker is one of the all-timers. That's how we came up with this. And then we'll get the winner of the week. Don't forget, Monday, particularly maybe you change your plans because of this situation that's developed. Join us at the NAC. Nick Cale there starting at 6, and Greg and Dawn, then Dawn Show, then mine with Dan. And we'll have some great guests in person, but it will be the moment to celebrate. And at noon, whether Trump's in the rotunda or wherever he is, he becomes president constitutionally. All right, 855-839-1210. Hit us with that person who was not an actor. Maybe they developed later on into it, somehow or another, a non-actor in a role. That's what we're looking for. Let's go to Gary in Newtown on Talk Radio 1210. All right, Gary, who's your person?
One thing, my wife will not be able to make it on Monday, which means Joe Biden might make it.
We always love it when the wife can't make it there. One last Biden that we have to. Who are you going to work up as the character now after Biden's done?
I don't know, but I think Joe's going to fall off the stage on Monday.
Woof. All right, be ready for that. All right, Gary, who's your person?
I'm going to go with Bruce Willis. I know he's an actor, but he was an extra on The Verdict in 1981.
Okay, and that's how he got into the fray as an actor.
Absolutely.
All right. It's not, it's got to be somebody who was a non-actor. Really.
Yeah. Everyone had a life before they became an actor.
He had the intentionality of becoming an actor.
Right.
That's why he was an extra.
All-time insight of Bill Maher, and I've heard him say this many times, these people in Hollywood whose kid gets into the business, they say, Maher said stuff like, well, it just got my foot in the door. And he goes, well, don't you understand? That's pretty much the whole deal. And then your talent is what's going to carry you after that.
Yeah.
Getting your foot in the door is the hardest part. Yeah. Joe in Columbus. Joe with the great hair we've heard this week. Joe, who's yours?
Dom, Columbus is a real place, I want to tell you.
I know that. I told people. You heard me. It's right off the freeway.
You know, it's
the whole
crazy.
thing.
We were actually having a conversation behind the scenes yesterday, Joe, because my in-laws are getting ready to move, and one of the places they're scouting out is that Mount Holly, Columbus region, and I was asking about it, and Dom's like, well, why don't you just ask Joe from Columbus?
There you
and
go.
I'm like, you know
He couldn't believe it was a real thing. I told him, of course it is.
And Dan, I want you to know, Joe from Columbus is a realtor. So if they ever need anybody,
here we go.
Thank you. I didn't know that, Joe.
All right.
Awesome.
There you go. All right. They're done.
And I want to tell you, there's one other thing I want to tell you guys. Nobody characterized Monday better than Bob from Ben Salem. And if you guys can make me some kind of informal promise, I want to meet him on Monday.
Joe,
Robert of Ben Salem.
Robert of Ben Salem. Yeah, you call him Bob. You're Robert. Yeah.
No, you'll definitely meet him. Yeah, he'll be there.
Please, Joe.
And it's funny. What happens is sometimes these regulars, once they hear each other's voices, they kind of gravitate towards another. There's like a Knights of the Round Table meeting between Robert and Earl and everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the excitement of this day, we should nail it down to any one point, but I want to nail it down to my point. When Trump sits at that table and starts signing executive orders.
Exactly.
That's going to be my celebration. My guy was a man-child on the terms of Dick Butkus, on the lines of Dick Butkus. What he did in Blazing Saddles was incredible. He endeared himself to people, and that was Alex Karras.
Yep. A non-actor completely, but a guy who did a lot of TV and everything else ultimately. All right, I think it's time because of the clock here to firm them up. Who did you like today, Henry?
I thought Earl's answer of Arlie Ermy.
Yeah,
obviously going from a soldier, and I wasn't exactly the drill instructor at first, and then becoming it and becoming such a legendary actor in that role. They got other movies. I thought that was pretty incredible.
Dan?
I think that one that still has a cult following to this day, Andre the Giant as Fezzik in Princess Bride.
I kind of like the drill sergeant. I like the point that we should have maybe said more. Not only was he a non-actor, but once he got in there, they used this guy forever. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a one-off. It wasn't a one-hit wonder. So let's put him into the hat, and let's get ready to get a winner.
Yes, Tom, Monday we asked for a rags to riches story. Joe of Exton won with the Black Lives Matter founders. Tuesday.
Yeah. Oh. Hey, no Joe of Exton today. What the heck's happening?
No, because he doesn't call in once he's won.
Oh, that's the thing Joe does. Is he tries to step aside to give other people chances. Once he gets his name in the hat. Tuesday, all-time hair, Harrison Kintersville, the one with the kangaroo.
Oh, great call.
Called in with Marge Simpson won the day. Wednesday, an all-time great human feat. Pete in South Philly, who was working that day at the Veterans Stadium, told us about the great Walendas walking across that
What
wire.
a voice, damn. Whoa, that guy, yes.
Thursday, a one-hit wonder. Jaden and Honeybrook, a first-time caller, called in with Carson Wentz and his MVP caliber season before the injury. And then you just heard it Friday, non-actors acting well. Earl and Taccone, Arlie Ermy, becoming that drill sergeant that everybody's familiar with. So, Dom, they all go into the hat now. I need my drum roll, please. Here it is. Got a 2 for Tuesday. Harrison Kintersville with Marge Simpson. Great all-time hair.
Will a kangaroo be making an appearance? I guess not. We didn't get the permission. I wanted that kangaroo there. I had a bear the last time. I hope the bear shows up this time around. Will there be football throwing? If there's a football. Will I debate Linda Kearns? Yes, big time.
How are we going to fit all this into it?
This
3
is
hours.
A jam-packed show. Will
and
there be champagne? Oh, man, maybe champagne. I don't really. I'm gonna have to bring some wine. Will there be a salmon-colored shirt?
Hopefully.
This is great producing. This is what Dan
does. This is much harder than I expected it to be.
Measuring me for a salmon shirt behind the scenes.
Yeah. One of many things.
I'm shocked I'm wearing a 17 neck size now. I got to work on that. That's almost like a no-neck guy.
Bring it down a little bit?
Bring it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes. What's yours, Henry?
I have no idea.
Okay.
No. Look at me.
All right. So Monday, be there starting with Nick, 6 in the morning, Nick and Dawn and Greg, and then the Dawn Stenson show, and then we'll count down together with Dawn those last 15 minutes or so. Then my show at noon when Trump is president. Linda Kearns and others will be there. The NAC, the Newtown Athletic Center, center of the political universe in Bucks County. And we'll see how it goes with the cold and everything else. Have a great weekend. Follow on Twitter at DomShow1210, at DomShow1210. Rich C. always next for 4 big hours. Thanks for listening this week. and a bigger week coming up if that's possible. All that here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
By registering for the next Crash Proof Retirement educational event, you'll see real statements from Crash Proof Retirement clients documenting how the exclusive Crash Proof Retirement system credits double-digit interest returns, even during the worst of recent stock market downturns.
Rob Lukens, Birdsboro, Pennsylvania. During COVID, when everything was going down in the stock market, we saw our investment with Crash Proof grow 15%, which was unheard of. Markets weren't growing that way. The interest we made through Crash Proof's investments, we keep it. We don't lose anything. We keep every penny that we invested. The worst that's going to happen